and in 3, 2, 1, and now we're live. We're here with Brad Yeager from Brad Elbard on the Riot Podcast today. How are you doing, sir?
All right, that's not how we do things around here. So, welcome to episode 14 of the Bardic Inspiration Podcast. I'm your host, Brad the Bard. Brad Elbard, or Bradle Bard, as Kato's been calling me all day. And today, my guests, some awesome athletes and world travelers, Kato and Elias from Riot Parkour.
Shout out Patrick. Shout out Patrick.
Shout out Patrick. I'm going to have him on, too. I want to have him on.
It's going great. We just got back from a tour.
So, let's start with, before you left for tour, you guys built out the sweetest van I've ever seen in my life. Tell me about that process.
Okay, so over last winter, I got really bored, and I was like, we should do a thing, go on a tour or something. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, we should really do this tour. And so I asked a bunch of my friends, and they're like, yeah, we're on board. We can make this. This should be a thing. And so I started just kind of keeping my eyes out for a van. My dad owns a business called Million Mile Sprinter, where he works on those vans. That's what he does. He buys them and flips them and works on them.
Nice.
So I just had to hook up, basically.
Right, nice.
And I was like, all right, Dad, I'm looking for this van. He's like, all right, cool. Well, when I find a cheap one in the market, because he's always flipping them and stuff, he's like, I'll just take one and I'll sell it back to you for the same price. Because I don't need to make money. You're my son, whatever. And he's like, cool. So dope. So he found this van for me. It didn't work. It didn't have an engine in it. It was half of a van. I bought it for $1,800. And then we spent the next 8 weeks building out the interior and exterior and putting an engine in it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's kind of how the van happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then basically, so me and Kato, we lived together and we were working on the van every day for many days. And then our friend Burrito and our friend Michaela come and stayed at our house for a while to help work on the van. And yeah,
we just made it happen.
That's awesome, man. I saw a bunch of Instagram clips of the process. Looked like it was super fun. I wish I could have.
It was really fun.
I wish I could have been there, kind of see how you guys did some things and maybe give you some advice on how I did a few things in here.
Facts. Yeah, you have a sweet setup in here for sure.
Yo, thank you, man.
There were no shortage of.
I don't have bunk beds though. Right when you guys were doing that process, I'm like, oh, that's gangster. I want those so bad.
Dude, those bunk beds get scary though. When the car is shaking or we're off road or Elias is driving, you're just in a can and that can's just getting shaken. It's pretty violent.
All right, man.
In a good way.
It sounds like a good time
it's
to
sexy
me. All right. So let me ask you, what made you decide you wanted to go on a tour, like a parkour tour? Because I know that's definitely a common thing. I even have a From Here to There tour sticker up there. So, I've been following a few groups that have been coming up with that idea. And it's cool to actually talk to someone who put it together and made it a reality.
Nice, yeah.
Obama was here.
The internet's weird because it's super cool, and because you can have a lot of really cool interactions over the internet, and you can put a lot of really cool art on the internet, and you can do a lot of things on the internet, but in the end the internet is not real life, and it's really hard to understand someone unless you've had a genuine personal interaction with them. Right now I'm sitting here talking in front of you and I have a much better understanding of you than probably these people whoever on the internet who's just seen you on the internet just because whatever. And so we have a really intense persona, and we do some crazy things, and some people have issues with us, some people really love us or whatever. We get a lot of different people, and honestly we wanted to meet more people, and we wanted to show more people what we're about, and we're we can do the internet kinda, but we can super do that if we just get in a van and go to them.
Go there, yeah.
And kind of what it looked like is we did 7 jams in 7 different cities. We did Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Denver, San Francisco, Vancouver, Seattle, Minneapolis. So we did 7 different jams, and we were just yo, we're gonna be that's close enough. We're gonna be we're at this spot at this time. Come test with us, and so we got to meet a lot of people. It's really cool.
No, that's super cool. So what made you choose those spots?
We wanted to go around the country, and those were the major cities that we thought there was a lot of parkour fun to be had
Yeah.
on the way.
Yeah.
And Minneapolis is where I'm from.
Oh,
and
nice.
Vancouver is definitely where we were trying to go in the first place because this guy is
NAPC.
a NAPC
Woo, woo.
finalist.
Oh, nice,
Shout
dude.
out SPL.
And so-
SPL is like the tightest parkour competition out there. Woo, woo.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't even compete, but I had a lot of fun. If you know what I'm talking about, there's an after party. You know how fun that gets.
No doubt.
But yeah, it was just like pretty much how can we get to Vancouver and have the most fun with the best crew possible.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And so we just partied the whole way, ate fish out of the ocean, did whatever we wanted, and eventually we made it to Vancouver.
So did you guys build up some rapport in like the communities in these cities before you actually traveled there?
That was one thing that was interesting because like, I mean, I had never really been any further. Like I think Kato had never really been further than Colorado
yeah.
out west, and I hadn't been further than Colorado for parkour. I go when I was like a kid or whatever. So it was really interesting because we like, especially in Philadelphia and Cincinnati, I think all the jams were like pretty poppin' because like people like knew who we were because we had like been around there and stuff. But as we went farther west, like less people kind of knew who we were because like our sphere of influence shrunk, and that was like something really interesting to learn. And it was just like it was like a thing. I don't know. It was interesting, but like we built rapport on the tour, and
Yeah.
so it was like I was
And
like,
it
all right,
worked
cool.
out in the end.
And it worked out. Like
Sessions kept it lit though.
sessions
Yeah,
kept it
no
lit. It's
doubt.
true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was the main way that you actually were able to gather people to the events?
Instagram. I mean, just hollering at people on Instagram.
Hey.
Just adding the local dudes and like different hashtags and stuff.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like we just have like a pretty decent network that we built up with our Instagram videos and stuff.
No doubt.
And so there's a bunch of people who like are in those cities and just were like, yo, like sick, and like kind of reshared our post to like their groups and stuff. And then we reached out to some
Parkour
group.
runs pretty deep.
Exactly.
It does
Yeah.
run
Like
pretty deep.
like parkour's tight. Like
Shout out Patrick.
shout out Patrick and parkour. Shout out parkour. Like people in parkour just want to help each other. That's like the other thing is like, and so people just like people helped us out. We like it was really cool in San Francisco. We linked up with they have like a weekly community jam, and we kind of ran our jams together, and that was really fun. And so we kind of got like 2 different jams going. It was a good time.
And they know where the
Yeah.
spots are, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They got the
for sure.
spots.
So let's kind of hit the trip every city and maybe like highlight who had like the best spots, who had the best like community as far as size, who was the most talented community.
I mean, day one, Philadelphia, everyone came out to our
Philly showed the
our
fuck
first
up.
event. It was really psych. Like, I almost cried, dude. We had half of that group was not parkour people, and for the longest time, like that's been a demographic that I really wanted to hit because I know there are a lot of not parkour people that like could use a little ride in their lives,
No doubt.
and so it was sick to see like that being like such a large percentage of the turnout. And that was awesome.
That was pretty cool. It was cool. Yeah, I mean Philly was definitely the largest jam. To take a spot, I mean, man, we had tight fucking spots at everywhere we went.
Freeway Park was dope.
Freeway Park in Seattle is incredible. We kind of got rained out of there.
But like you could just tell, I was like,
when you guys were there.
yeah,
It
that
rained
place
in
was dope.
Seattle.
There's so many jumps.
I went in the winter like a year ago.
Yeah?
That seems like the move.
Dude, I had like definitely like sweatpants and like a hoodie.
Yeah,
but, bro,
chilly.
It's
Mhm.
perfect. Like,
Nice. Yeah.
As long as your hands are warm, you can
Yeah,
train for
stay
a
tight.
good couple hours.
Dude, Freeway is a great spot. Yeah,
Freeway
Freeway is
is
probably my favorite spot.
Yeah,
Across the
I'd
tour.
say so. It was.
Um,
it would have been cool. We went to PV Plaza in Minneapolis,
That one
and that spot
totally
is
rained
sick.
out.
But it was just like
Poured rain.
it was like in Seattle. It was like sprinkling, so you could still kind of like hang out, have a good time. But like you just like couldn't. You would jump and then you'd be in an ocean.
Minneapolis just had downpour. There was like 2 inches of rain. We were like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
Isn't we stayed out. We stressed the entire time, but we had one person show up. It was raining. No one wanted to come out in that rain.
No
That's okay. That's
doubt.
okay
Can't
though.
rain.
How it is.
It is a
Especially
big.
like the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of like the rain, what did you guys do for like showers when you were traveling in the van?
That's a good question. You know, I think we should move on to the next question.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like this answer. We
I-
didn't take any.
I had a bar of soap, and we went swimming in rivers a lot. We like cliff jumping, and
No
we like
doubt.
just like finding crazy rapids, being like, let's throw ourselves into that and see what happens, cause like it's a great fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
man.
like,
It
so,
sounds violent.
Yeah, exactly. So I took a bar of soap in the rivers, kind of wipe yourself off. You get pretty clean actually. It's not too
No
bad. bad.
man. I've been
Yeah.
there. That's like the move when you're camping.
We
Like,
also
I-
had like
I
some
was in there.
friends hook us up with getting showers too.
No doubt,
I
on
didn't
the way.
take them up,
yeah,
but
Michaela and Matt
let's see
showered.
I think
Burrito
the
showered
Try Hard
once.
Collective. Shout out Try Hard Collective
Yeah.
at the Nest. They hooked us up. They gave us some sweet showers. Who else? Someone else gave us showers.
Yosemite
The
Park
best
Services.
Yosemite Park Services. Shout out them for having really like no security. You can just take showers there.
And
That's awesome.
do whatever you want.
And do whatever you want.
No security.
Shout out
Yeah.
Patrick. Shout out Half Dome.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Oh, do you guys want hats? Like, I completely forgot.
Hats.
We love
Dude,
hats.
I have mad hats.
I forgot
On my head.
Did you see? Yeah. Do you want a hat?
Yeah,
All right, Kato. I have
Yeah.
I'm for it. You,
I feel so bad. Like, I got this one.
I want that one.
The pirate hat, bro.
Can I have the pirate one?
I want the
All
tiki
day.
one, dog.
Yo, I got a cowboy hat. No,
That one.
All right, man. Dude, I feel like mad disrespectful. I completely forgot to offer you guys
You
a hat.
definitely just gave me your most fragile hat, which was a mistake.
Yo, it's a good time, man.
Shout out Patrick.
Hats are replaceable. You guys aren't.
That's so kind.
I'm going to cry.
This thing's wild, dude.
Yo, it's a
Do I
good
wear
time.
it like this? I don't even. I think I'm wearing it right. This is good.
Yeah, you got it, man.
All right, cool.
No doubt, no
Dude.
diggity.
This hat reminds me of bananas.
So let's get back to the tour here.
Yeah.
So can you go in order of what cities you hit and kind of like what? Can you give me like a synopsis of the trip and kind of hit a couple of your highlights?
Well, after
Well-
Philly, we went straight to Cincinnati like that night. Like
that
day.
right away. We had the
Yeah.
Philly jam on a Saturday, the Cincinnati jam the next day on a Sunday. So
We
it was
lost
like
our keys.
jammed.
Oh man.
It was that was fun. Jammed and then drove straight to Cincinnati and then jammed again. That
Can
was
you
really
give me like a
intense.
story from every city?
Man and I almost died in Cincinnati
What
after our
happened?
jam.
I want to know.
Well, we had to get our car checked out. What were we getting fixed in Cincinnati? Like that had to happen like right away.
Oh man, that sucks to
Um,
hear.
The battery.
The battery.
One of our batteries died, and so our car was like, it was cool, but we couldn't charge any of our phones or anything. So we're like, all right, we got to get this figured out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But that really only takes like a handful of people. So that morning we like wake up after our jam in the Swift's parking lot, and we like meander our way over to this like AutoZone or whatever, and like this lady like just stops in the middle of the road, and some dude is like, hey, can you guys come push this car? And so I don't know where Burrito was, but you and Michaela were in the store. So man and I are like, oh, okay, we'll push this car. And this is not like a snoozy road. This is like a really busy road. It's like right off the highway. And so like man and I are just like pushing the car, and we look to the right, and there's this like sedan coming at us, and it's not stopping. It's going like 60 miles per hour, and we're like, this car isn't going to stop. And so we ended up having to just like sprint as hard as we could pushing this car, and it like barely didn't hit me. It was awful. And then the dude thought that lady was on crack and wanted to talk to her about it. It was weird. It was a weird experience. But yeah, that was my like crazy story from Cincy.
So, do you have like a fun
Cincinnati?
story from Cincinnati?
Cincinnati was
You had to like
fast.
carry a battery from the auto parts store back to the van.
Yeah, we were like parked in the auto store. This was like in the auto parts store parking lot, the road, like right
Oh,
outside
that's
this happened.
convenient.
Yeah. No, we were just like we always fix our stuff in the parking lot there. It's like the easiest thing to do. Cincinnati, we were like
You just love touching.
in and out of Cincinnati so fast. I mean, they were like, that was like overnight, man. We really didn't do that much in Cincinnati. We went to Richie's. Richie's is dope. It's like the best restaurant.
Shout out
It's
Richie's.
just like a soul food Jamaican restaurant in like maybe it's not Jamaican. It's like soul food. It's so
It's
good.
just soul food.
And
yeah.
in fucking Cincinnati, it's the best. You can get like a whole fried fish for like $5. It's so nice.
Shout out their fried
It's like-
okra. Shout out their chicken.
It's really good.
Shout out the cornbread.
the cornbread.
shout out Patrick.
The
no
cornbread.
doubt.
Cincinnati was super fast. I mean, the way
Yeah.
we did it, most of the time we were only in these cities. Like, or we were on tour for 5 weeks, and we were in 7 different cities, except for like Vancouver. Most of the time we were only in them for like a day or 2 days.
Mhm.
So then in between the cities is like when we did a lot of like our craziest shit. Like we went to like Yosemite National Parks, and we went to like and we went to we went to fucking Arches, we went to Redwoods, we went to like some crazy beaches in San Francisco, but like that was cool. Like what was after Cincinnati? Denver.
Uh-huh.
Denver was pretty cool. What did we in Denver? There's this descent called, or that's in Boulder. There's a descent called Pearl Street,
Yeah.
and it was so much fun, dude. That descent, it's like the iconic like red I don't know. It's so nice. It's just a great catch. It's you drop down the side of a building for like this. It's like catch, and it's like this.
Did you post that on Instagram?
Yeah,
dude, it looks so good.
That was like so fun. We all got to like a lot of the time like people go there and they'll get like arrested. People get like fucking people have gotten like fucking fat tickets there, and like we just got super lucky and like no one kicked us off. We spent like an hour and a half there, and like a bunch of us descent to descent, and that was a magical moment.
Man did it from the top, dude.
We climbed a mountain outside of Denver, and we found out Michaela had asthma as we were climbing the mountain, because she's like, we're like, dude, are you okay? And she's like, I can't breathe right now. And we're like, man, this is gonna be a way different mountain climb than we thought it was gonna be.
Well, you wait here.
No, we took her up the mountain. It was
crazy.
intense. We just always had like one person kind of with her at all times, just to, like make sure nothing weird happened. We just like gave her tons of water, helped her up. It was scary, but it was a sweet mountain. It was really cool. Started like a lightning storm just as we were getting to the top, and there was like lightning flashing down around us. It was crazy, but then it was like sunny. It was beautiful. It was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
A+ mountains in Denver.
A+ mountains.
What was after Denver? San Francisco.
California, yeah. That was the drive to California was tight.
That was a far drive.
Yeah, that
So
was
you
a
did
journey.
that in one shot?
Well, we had
Well, we
3
took
drivers,
days.
so it took us like 2 days. We stopped at like some hot springs on the way to San Francisco.
Nice.
Hot springs are clutch. Yeah, in San Francisco, in California, before we even got to San Francisco, we spent 2 days in Yosemite. And I don't know how well you know like the setup in Yosemite, but there's like a lot of famous trails and mountains.
No doubt.
And
You said you went to El Capitan.
yeah, so
Yeah.
so as a group, everyone except for Michaela climbed. We hiked to El Capitan. It was like 16 miles, right?
Yeah, it was
So-
60 miles.
16 miles round trip. It was really intense. It took us like 12 hours. We started like 9 a.m. didn't get back, or like 11 hours. Didn't get back till like 8 p.m.
There's a pool.
There's a glacier
There's a
pool at the
tight-ass
top of this
pool.
mountain.
So
It's like
beautiful.
it's fed by glaciers, and it's a waterfall. It's like, dude, it's what's up. It's like
Dude.
it's worth it.
Yo.
It's like, well, the hike's worth it.
Definitely on my bucket list, man.
Dude, Yosemite is like just a beautiful national park.
You have to make that happen.
And then like the other big mountain in Yosemite is called Half Dome. And so when we got down from El Cap, we were debating whether we wanted to hike El Cap or hike Half Dome. But you need a permit to hike Half Dome. They only let like 100 people do it a day, and so you have to sign up like months in advance. So we finished hiking El Cap, and then on the way, when we were on top of El Cap, Kato and our friend Matt, they saw Half Dome, and they were like, "Man, that looks incredible. I want to climb on that thing." And so as soon as we got down, they took like 2 hours break, and then they started another 16-mile hike overnight to climb Half Dome while there was no security, so they could get past without applying for the thing.
You
That's
made it
gangster,
like
bro. That's gangster.
if we were 15 minutes later, we would have gotten ticketed.
You're so
Yeah, as we climb down. So the reason you need a permit is there's this 400-foot face of rock climbing that you have to do to get to the top at the end. And that was awful to do because it was really scary and we were very tired.
Did
and
you do it?
very
You made
yeah,
it all
we
the
made
way
it
up?
all the way to the
That's
top.
crazy.
Dude, we were excited for it since you have to climb these 2 cables, and we asked these hikers that were going up to Half Dome on our way up if it was like death penalty, like you just fall, you die. I actually saw somebody fell like this week and died there.
Really?
Yeah,
That's intense.
Yeah, and
That's like a
crazy.
trail
yeah,
too.
Matt texted me
What
and
was
he's
the
like,
difficulty
"Rip."
of the climb? Like, you didn't have any gear? Did people use
No
gear?
gear. So
or
you can walk on these 2 wires, and or not on the wires, but you're walking
holding the
up, and
wires.
you're pretty much just like walking 90 degrees straight up.
Yeah. With the cables in your
Yeah,
hand.
on the way down, Matt and I cheated though. We slid on our butts with the cables in our hands, and I actually thought that was a lot safer because if you're like walking down a mountain 90 like straight down
Yeah,
the wall,
nah.
and you fall, you're just gonna straight down to the ground. I think that's what
Yeah.
happened to that lady. Rip Jaman. But no, it was. I think the hike itself had we been fully rested or had that been the first one we did, I think it would have been much easier. I think it's an easier hike than the El Cap hike. Because there's really only one super steep part, and then everything else is just kind of like gradual incline. But having only eaten like so much and having not had any sleep and having already done like an incredibly taxing hike, it wasn't easy. We like Matt's a little bit more fit than I am, and so he ended up like carrying the second bag. And, like, dude, we were crawling at the end of it. And we slept for, like, 30 minutes up top before the sun came up. And then getting down was pretty miserable. getting down, we could see everything and it was like clear. But we were like, man, we just want to be done walking. We really just don't want to walk
How about your
anymore.
feet after that, bro?
My feet were fine since I just kind of went barefoot the whole trip as much as I could. But Matt got like big blisters. Matt's feet got fucked up. He like had trouble like jumping afterwards because he didn't want to hit those blisters.
Handstands.
But no, but like on our way down, like 10 minutes after we made it down from the top, and you only need the permit to do this like that top 400 feet. We get like 10 minutes away from that walking, and the park ranger comes up, and he's like, were you guys at the top? Do you guys have your permits? And I was like, oh, we don't have our permits, but we just got to the top. It's really scary looking up there. And he's like, okay. And he like just knew I was like fucking lying out of my ass. Like, there's no way he didn't know. And he was super sus about it, but he just went on. Like, what's he gonna do? Stop us? He has like a bunch of other people to stop. And so like yeah, and we made it all the way down. Like no one got hurt. Just really tired, and we fell asleep in the parking lot waiting for these guys to pick us up. We're like,
Just bricked out.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Shout out Matt, dude. Matt was up for like the rest of the day. Like we got into the van, and they're like, let's make breakfast, and I fell asleep, and Matt just stayed up, and like he went cliff jumping with you guys, and he like stayed up for the rest of the drive, and I was just like, Matt's a champion. Shout out Patrick.
What's Patrick giving you for all the shots?
Shout out Patrick.
I'll drink to that, bro. I'll drink to that.
It's reasonable.
But yeah.
So from Yosemite, where did you go next?
San Francisco was the next place. San Francisco Jam was nice because it reminded us of home. There was a lot of crackheads and they were really violent. And we're like, dude, this feels just like Philly. There was this woman who tried to she chased it like there was just a bunch of fucking homeless people or semi-homeless people, whatever, at the Embarcadero, which is like the big park, like on like the strip at like San Francisco, but it's also like a tight spot. And so she picks up this guy's like harassing her, fucking with her phone or something. And she picks up a sledgehammer and just starts chasing him. And he's like, what the fuck? And so he runs across the street. She's just chasing him with a sledgehammer. She fucking hurls it at him. Yeah.
It went like inches away from his head.
We were like, this is so much like Philly. We're so with this.
I was like,
San Francisco was nice because of that.
Tonight.
That was fun. Yeah.
But then we went to Sessions too.
Went to Sessions. Sessions is Sessions Gym. It's in San Jose, California. One's by Deshay. It was really cool. It was a really awesome gym.
It was super awesome.
Type.
Yeah.
After that we went after San Francisco. Well, we stopped in Redwoods quick. There's slugs in Redwoods called banana slugs. These slugs are legit. They're like this big. Kato had a couple of them. He was just throwing them at things. They were just like. It was weird, dude. They were all over the place.
One was on our van and just stayed on our van.
Yeah, we just kind of like, he stuck on the side of the van and just stayed there for like several states. It was pretty impressive,
That's
actually.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's
It's just a slug there.
California's
I
so
know,
awesome.
right?
Because like if you're on the coast of California, you can just go to the ocean and get your dinner too.
That's true.
And we did that like once
That
or
is
twice.
fucking hacks.
So you guys were like fishing and getting
Dude,
food.
the
out
whole
of
trip
ocean?
we just found secret ingredients. Like I cook a lot. Not a lot of people know that. But we were like driving through the salt flats of Utah one day, and I was like, "Yo, let's get some salt." And so we have this like whole liter or gallon or whatever of salt in our van because we just stopped in the salt flats and like ran out, took a bunch of salt, got back in the van.
That's crazy.
And then like in Yosemite, when we climbed to the top of El Cap, actually, because like the trees can't grow much like very high, at that altitude, there were these like fresh pine cones that were still on the tree.
Pine nuts.
Yeah. And so inside of those pine cones, there are pine nuts, and you can eat those and roast those, and like quite expensive. And we found those, and they're just hard to harvest, so we ended up not eating a ton of them. But we were like, "Yo, this is cool as shit."
It's like a pomegranate, but even harder to get to.
Yeah, it's like
It's
a
really
mega
intense.
pomegranate. Yeah, and then we just ate fucking mussels and seafood out of the ocean, crabs.
You just pick mussels off the rocks, boil them with some oil and salt, and
Some butter.
capiche. So nice.
Yeah, we feasted, dude. We made like a whole bucket.
So, kind of on the topic of feasting on things, can you tell me about Kato's bug review?
Oh, sometimes bugs just be out there needing to be eaten, dog. Like, what is that? What is this?
Yo, that's I I think that's Fireball. I mean, that's for you. That's what that is.
Wait, let me have. Oh,
right,
shit.
Well, that's. Thanks, Kato. I mean, you're welcome.
I just found it.
Yeah.
You never just find things.
Yeah, man. So, can I ask you, like, just a quick question? Like, what's a 1 out of 5 bug? And then, like, what's a 5 out of 5 bug?
So, actually, I think a 5 out of 5 bug is a bug that I'm like, that's tasty.
Well, like, can you give me an example?
An ant.
Ants are 5 out of 5?
Are 5 out of 5. They're super acidic. They taste like, like lemons. You know when you bite a lemon? It's like that, but not a lot because they're very small. And a 1 out of 5 bug is a glow bug, like those fireflies.
Fireflies, yeah.
Have you ever like been into like a fucking glow stick?
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly that flavor.
Yeah,
but,
the phosphor.
Yeah, it just like doesn't taste good. And you're like, that sucks. But yeah, the whole thing started because I was like, man, what would be really funny and what would like I can gain from it. And I'm a very gluttonous person. I want to experience everything there is.
I'll drink to that, bro.
I just drank a whole bunch to that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Because of that, like it makes sense for me to eat bugs, just because a lot of people go their whole lives without experiencing that, and that to me is weird because that's something that's very easy to experience. Like, it's like some of them are fucking gross as shit. Some of them are like surprisingly delightful, like ants. I'm like, look at these ants over here, and I can just have a nice snack because I'm willing to, and I know that they're edible, and I know that they taste pretty dang good. Cockroaches taste like mayonnaise though, and the first one I had, I was like, man, that tastes like mayonnaise. That's 5 out of 5. I like mayo. And then the second one I have didn't die when I bit it, and it was awful.
That's a shame. I'm sorry for not muting my phone. Oh, it's Shayna. Hello?
Hi, Shayna.
Shout out Shayna.
Is something
Shout out
going
Shayna.
on the
Shout out
stream?
Patrick.
Shout out Shayna. Shut up.
Hello?
What?
It's quiet. That's kind of what
We should
I
turn
thought.
the volume up.
All right. Oh, there's people in the comments. I'm going to actually bring you guys up more.
Are we too quiet? Can you hear us now?
Shout out Patrick.
No,
Yeah,
no more shouting out
yeah,
Patrick. Fuck Patrick.
Just talk louder, guys. I'm just kidding.
Not actually. We like
Yeah. All right,
Patrick.
cool. Thanks for letting me know.
Hey, is
See,
Ventrico gonna do a
we're
project with
pretty,
us?
That's a good quote.
Is we over here? Yeah. Are they?
All right, I'll let you go then. Thank
It
you
really
very much.
is real commercial hours.
Oh shit! What? It just did that
Oh,
thing.
man, we have a lot of comments and people in the description there.
Now you broke
I
it.
actually forgot to bring that up. Yo, Pat
No, I
said
didn't.
heart. Journey, not destination, says
What
gang,
about
gang.
Pat? The only thing I heard about Pat is shout out Patrick.
Oh, yeah,
Shout out
quiet.
Patrick.
It's quiet, man. I feel so bad.
We're fixing it. We're making it louder now.
He
Like
said
right now.
unwatchable. Oh man, I'm sorry, avocado atrocity. Yo, don't fuck with it.
I'm really trying to fix it right now, but it's like.
Gotta push it in more. All right, yo.
I'm
So
sorry I
my
broke
bad.
your shit.
Kato's bug review, bro.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if anyone's heard anything yet.
It's
Have they been hearing things?
It's just quiet.
It's just quiet. I mean,
I've been boosting it as we've been going.
Boosting.
But yeah.
You know what I'm boosting right now? Patrick's followers. Hashtag
man.
follow Patrick.
Did you? Is his thing even in the description?
It's
No,
definitely
no
not.
way.
That's the thing. Is he's not gonna say his handle. the whole time. He's just gonna fuck with him.
Nuh-uh.
See, I guess if you could do anything, just when you're talking, lean in a little bit.
Lean in a little bit like this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just a little bit. Word.
Shout out Patrick.
All
Get
right.
off the
All right,
fucking
thanks,
microphone.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the
For the feedback.
Awesome.
Oh, man. All right,
Fuck these
so
kids.
Liam said, "Fuck these kids." I don't
Yeah.
know. I think
Fuck you too, Liam.
I'm just gonna entertain questions.
Liam's a bum ass hater. Just kidding.
man.
I'm just kidding.
All right, so let's go back to the tour then.
Yeah.
So, or wait, before we move on, what do you think about like they made like that roach bread in like Brazil? What do you think about?
What
like,
is that?
I don't know. They take like components from like roaches and they make this bread that's like super high in protein.
Like
Whoa.
weed?
No.
That sounds
Like
fantastic.
cockroaches.
yeah,
Like a
insects.
bread from bugs.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds dope. I think more people need to, I think bugs are really sustainable. Like, there are a lot of crickets.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of bees. Wait, bees are bugs.
What is he talking
Yeah,
about?
You know what I'm
I don't know
talking
where he's going
about.
with it, but- no, I definitely think like I would try like that bread. You just-
Yeah.
Why not try a
Give it
live
shot.
cockroach? I'm sure we could find one.
I don't know, man. I'm not trying to eat a live.
Why not?
cockroach, bro. I don't know, man. I'm not
Why
as
not?
badass as you, bro.
That's not a real answer. I think there are two acceptable answers that I'll take that I think will be honest. I think you're either going to say you're allergic. I'm not really going to believe that. Or you're going to say you're afraid of eating a cockroach right now.
All right, man. I'm afraid of eating a cockroach.
Shout out, Patrick.
All right, I'll take it. Yo, so you're in San Francisco, crackhead, sledgehammer. It's a good time.
It's a great time.
So where was like a community that had like really good numbers, and do you feel like it was like a healthy parkour community in the cities that you were at?
Actually the next place we went, which after Redwood, we went to Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And Portland, Oregon, let me tell you, is the place to be. We made some beautiful friends down there, like our friend Josh Miller and Max Antol, and lots of other beautiful people out of Forge Parkour. They have a really dope community. Portland, from what it seems, that they've had like an active community for over like 10 years, and like for parkour, that's crazy. That's insane. Like Philly's had a solid community for like 2, maybe 3 years, and like Philly's a big city, so like the fact that Portland, Oregon's been popping off for like 10 years is like really dope, really cool. I think they've had a lot of like older athletes, like Joey Adrian especially, really helped push the community out there.
And now they have like Tyler and Max.
Yeah, exactly, and they have like some
Josh's
legit athletes, and then there's they have a lot of gyms out there. There's like 4 gyms around the Portland area, which is really interesting. But yeah, Portland just seems to fuck with parkour.
Dude,
so that's like
Forge has kids that are like 11 and doing side frees. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty awesome.
They're doing real good over there.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So shout out Portland. Shout out Patrick.
Okay, chill with the shout out Patrick.
I
Like
really
just chill
like
with it.
Patrick.
I know you like Patrick, but just chill with it for like
He's a
1
good
second.
guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. We love him, but just chill
All
with
right,
it.
Patrick, you're not getting any more shout outs.
Shout out, Patrick.
Shout out Patrick. Exactly.
All right. So, no new stuff. So, if we're actually doing Q&A, if anyone has any specific questions they want to bring up, definitely let us know.
Hit us with those questions.
No doubt. So, then from Portland, what's a crazy story or something that happened in Portland?
Aside from our obvious story, we're just not gonna tell that story. Make sure me and Kato are on the same page here. Portland, what crazy thing happened in Portland?
It's a good question.
We got our van fixed in Portland by a friend out there, Portland Sprinter Connection. He helped us out, gave us new brake pads so we didn't die. That's pretty important.
Yeah.
That was pretty like top notch
I
stuff.
wouldn't be able to have you guys on my podcast right now.
I know if we were dead, that would be so sad.
I would suck. I would have survived.
Just saying how scared you were of
I don't-
sleeping in the bunk beds when he was driving.
I don't
It
know.
doesn't mean I wouldn't survive.
Oh my god. Live fearless, bro. Come on.
Without brake pads. Live without brake pads.
Live without brake pads. Good luck living without brake pads. Honestly, the spots in Portland were just super tight. They have really good parkour spots, and their gym Forge was really tight. Yeah. Yeah, Portland was tight.
And then from there, I'm assuming you went up to Canada.
We went up to Canada, to British Columbia. We had to leave in Cincinnati, Jose Pena came to our tour jam, and he was like, yo, and we've been buds with him for a while, and he was like, yo, can I tour with you guys, basically? And we were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So he flew into Denver to meet us a week later. And then from there, he tried to get a visa to get into Vancouver, but he couldn't, so we had to leave him in Seattle. But the rest of us went on to Vancouver to compete at NAPC. I was competing at NAPC, and Matt and Burrito did the on-site qualifiers. It was honestly super dope. It was like just a crazy fun time. We like parked our van, like Origins is the gym there. We parked our van in the parking lot and just lived in their parking lot, and it was honestly just tight as hell because it was like the back door of the parkour competition. Everyone was just kind of like chilling and just like partying in the parking lot, kind of always. And so we just like had our van. It just the place. That was like super tight.
Like your van was the hot spot. Like
It was like low key the hot spot. It was like the place to be. It was like
Infinite weed.
it was pretty tight.
We kept the J's flowing.
Had it flowing.
Dude,
And then
Oregon's
Vancouver's
nice.
great because like legal weed, and then alcohol and weed you can both buy at 19, which is like so much more logical than 21 in the U.S.
Inside of vending machines.
Instead of
dude.
vending machines, yeah, Canada's
What?
tight.
They have the first thing I did when I got to Canada was I threw up in my bed.
nice.
I was like, the legal age is 19. You guys can all go to bed. I'm going to the bar. I drink way too much. Threw up in my bed. The next day, I wake up. I meander over to the diner. It's Lucy's Diner. And I, like, wash my hair because there's throw up in my hair. That's, like, the closest thing I took to a shower the whole time. Was I wash vomit out of my hair. And I sit down at the counter. The dude across who's, like, running the counter hands me a coffee. Says I need a coffee. And I took him up on it. And we just started shooting shit. And I asked him where I could pick up some weed. Since by now we're, like, almost out of weed. That's not true. We had a whole half. We picked up like an ounce in Portland. But he's like, yeah, I can bring you to weed vending machines. I get off at 12. And so I'm super excited and I run back to the van. And I'm like, guys, I'm getting in this dude's car and he's taking me to weed vending machines. And my good friend Burrito, he's like, oh, Kato, I'm not letting you go alone, bud. And so Burrito and I meet up with the dude Simon to get in his car and find these weed vending machines. And Burrito's pretty skeptical, and I'm like excited. Weed vending machines, come on. In Canada, random stranger, nothing could go wrong. It's like my dream scenario. So you get in this dude's car, and he's this like super cool dude. He invites us to a party. He's like, yeah, I could show you around Canada. And like, he first starts talking about that, and we're like, uh-oh. And then he brings us to like real weed vending machines that are just out there with weed in them. And that was really exciting. The weed's kind of expensive though. So
vending machines.
Yeah, shout down vending machines, but shout out vending machines. But we get this weed, and he was like, wow, you guys are like pretty rad. Let me buy you some beers. And so he takes us to this like alcohol place. I don't know what you call them, like
Bars?
the beer shop. No, the beer shops. The place where you buy alcohol. And he's like, and he buys us a beer. Burrito and I like all beers. And we go to this place called Dude Chillin' Park. And it's literally Canada's Wild. It's a park where you just go there to smoke weed. Like, that's the point of the park. And there's a statue of a dude just, like, chilling like this. And it's crazy. And I brought us a pre-roll so we could smoke it there. And we just, like, had our beers. And it was, like, looking around the park, it was, like, out of a movie. Kind of like in Boulder. There's just, like, you know that scene in movies where, like, people are just, like, happy at the park. And they're, like, throwing the Frisbee and the dog's catching them. And everything's super nice. It was like that, but everywhere. And he was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, oh, are you done with those beer cans? When we were finished, grabs our beer cans and just puts them next to a tree. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This dude's littering. And then he's like, oh, you just got to leave the beer cans out for the hobos to pick up. And so in Canada, I don't know if anywhere else in Vancouver, but they have this sweet get-up where you have these cans in your bottles, your easy recyclables, and they're worth like 5 cents to hobos. And we talked about it at that pizza place, but yeah. You can just, like, leave them in a pile, and at the end of the night, there's this huge pile of, like, cans and bottles for the homeless people to pick up. And, like, it's probably, like, $10 worth of, like, shit. And since you get 20 things, you get $1 right there. And so, like, it drastically cuts down on, like, the waste and litter problem, and, like, it helps the homeless people. And I was like, wow, that's magical. And that kind of set the tone for, like, the rest of Canada. We're just, like, this magical place where you can buy whatever you want, and nothing bad ever happens.
So, what about, like, are there any situations where they just leave, like, a bunch of those cans there and they never get cleaned up?
No, because, like,
people want the money.
Yeah.
They're pretty on top
They
of
don't make it, like, worthless. They make it, like, worth people's time.
It's probably worth a little bit more than what you said, honestly.
Yeah, I think it might be worth 50 cents.
Like a decent bit of money, yeah.
50 cents might be the number.
That's
Who knows? Yeah.
But yeah, it was super cool. Definitely, like, made me think about the way we do things here. And I'm sure Canada has its own, like, handful of problems that I'm blissfully oblivious to since I don't live there. But they handle a lot of things differently than the U.S. for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think some of them are, like, really good. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Very
that
delightful.
Seems like something that's worth giving a shot. So we have a couple of questions. I'm just going to divert from the trip.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about Feiyu shoes for parkour?
Yo, I used to
Atrocity
fuck with Feiyus. They're like $20. You get your shoes. I train a lot more intensely than I used to, though. So I feel like I would just blast through Feiyus, and my $20 would be gone quicker than I would make it back by having shoes.
Feiyus are great minimalist training shoes. They're nice if you really want to hone in on like very specific things. Like if you're trying to like drill your fucking rail prees and shit, and you're just like, man, I want my tech to be capiche. Then Feiyus are nice. I don't love Feiyus because they're like so thin that I think like you run a weird risk. Like if you're doing any kind of like 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 any kind of like flipping onto hard stuff, you like land with a rock under your heel or something, your heel's just gone, and that's just like unfortunate. So I don't use Fayus anymore, but I used to. I think everyone's fucked with Fayus at some point.
Yeah.
Fayus are definitely like
So-
everyone has a Fayu experience.
Yeah.
They're really
I
good if
actually
you.
never tried them.
Really?
You
I
know
mean-
what I did try though? I
Yeah.
tried those 5-finger toe
Oh, I
shoes.
used to wear those
Oh.
way back.
Oh
in the
no,
day.
both of you.
Like 5 years ago.
I think those things are
Oh,
tacky.
before I fucking
think
I
they're
don't wear them
tacky.
anymore, bro. I used to wear them for rock climbing.
Yeah,
Really?
that seems
Yeah.
legit.
I don't know. I
actually.
feel like
That
I,
could
feel
become
like-
a
I would
shoe.
rather
like
have
it-
a hard toe and just be able to.
Well, I think I don't know. There's definite benefits to using climbing shoes.
Yeah, I definitely
it's
like-
legit. There's a reason people use those.
Sure.
Another question we have is, Elias, how's your leg? Are you still crippled? And I will answer that question right now. This man won the game of horse we played earlier today, so I would say that leg is handling this injury quite well. That or his technique is just fire.
a little bit of both.
It's going okay. It's feeling a lot better. There's like a weird strain in the back of my knee. Matt has diagnosed as a torn ligament. I have a doctor's appointment this Wednesday, and they're gonna tell me maybe what's happening, or at least recommend me to get an MRI. So I'll know then. We'll see. But yeah, as of right now, it's holding up okay.
All right, I'm happy to hear that, man.
Thank you.
And maybe one more question.
What are the best shoes for parkour then?
Yeah. So what do
Um,
you use now?
I use right now. Just stick it up in there. This is what I use right now. This is a Vans. I'm gonna take my shoe off. That'd
Yo,
be
dude.
way
Please
easier.
don't. Oh no.
This is a Vans Ultra Range. I have like little. I put shoe glue on them for Aldi guards because I skate too. And when you skate, it just tears through these shoes.
I'll put it up. Like,
Yeah, go ahead, stick it up there.
give
Woo.
it the rotation.
But yeah, so like I like
Both
this
you
shoe a
wearing
lot.
Vans, aren't you?
Yeah, we really like these shoes. I like them because they're good for.
I don't think they're the best parkour shoes, but they're the ones I fuck with right now. Puma Cabana Racers are the best fucking shoe. If Puma brings back that shoe, I will cry. I want that. Yeah.
Tell me about this.
They're Aldi guards. I skate, and when you, because there's fabric, it just rips through the shoe. But that's like, I have them on this one too. They're like, they're legit hard.
I'm not responsible. I don't shoe glue my shoes, but this is what they look like.
That's gangster.
It is
Just have
ripped
big
them.
holes. Yeah, my toes stick out, dog. I don't wear socks a lot, and my toes just like fucking fly out of those bitches.
Damn,
That's it.
bro.
That's the shoe.
This one smells like it's been through more, and
Yeah.
it looks like it's.
But honestly,
Well-
like whatever shoe you fuck with is like the shoe to wear. Like just try different shoes, see what you like. You'll realize certain things are good. What you want is like solid rubber bottoms, and like if you want a flexible shoe,
Yeah.
you want it to like fit nicely on your foot. But if you has like those three things, then like you're chilling. Just like try shoes, they'll work.
Yeah, like I'm using the Saucony shoes. I can't
Saucony
remember.
Bullets.
Saucony's tight.
That's
Those
the
are
ones
nice.
Andy uses, and
Yeah,
he recommended
super
it. And before
minimalist.
that, I was using the Onitsuka Tigers.
I like Tigers.
Yeah.
Tigers I still fuck with heavy.
Yeah.
I just
They're
I
cheap,
like the
like,
Vans.
they're
Yeah, they're
pretty
cheap.
cheap,
They're
you
like
know?
40
Tigers are
bucks.
cheap.
But
They're
I
nice.
like the Vans just because they like breathe. They're good hiking shoes. You can kind of just do whatever
They
you
look
want.
like
in
good,
them.
like chilling
great
shoes.
for skating.
too.
Comfortable, dude.
Yeah.
They
They're
look nice,
they
too.
Look versatile.
I
Yeah.
like- They look nice.
They're fresh.
I go through them quick though. We each had these shoes for like a
He
month.
said I can smell it from here. That's awesome.
Who said that?
Avocado atrocity. I don't know.
Bro, he's hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
Ow.
For real,
You
bro.
be hurting my feelings.
Don't be hurting the feelings of my guests, y'all. All right, yeah. Make sure you follow these guys. All of their handles are on the
In the
this area of the screen.
huh.
So let's get back to the trip now that we're kind of off of that. So Vancouver is like super cool, good
Thank you for the
ethical
bump.
practices for the homeless.
I shaved the dude's head.
You shaved a
Dude.
dude's head.
Oh yeah, he should do his head. I don't know. That,
Some dude just lost odds and hadn't shaved his head yet, and I overheard that, and my friend Christian hadn't shaved his head yet, and I was like, I peeked in there, I'm like, I can make this happen since Burrito had shaving shit on like haircut supplies, and we just shaved that dude's head right there and there. Pretty dang awesome.
we
That's
got
pretty crazy.
we got caught climbing a crane during the NAPC after party. So like so the way NAPC went basically is like there's 3 days of competition. The end of the 3rd day is like the big party, and you all go to a bar, get drunk, and then you go back to the gym and just like whatever and chill out. And like we were all chilling because I got knocked out on the first day of the competition. I fucked my run up. I hurt my leg, and so we were all just kind of chilling all weekend. And so during the after party, we're like, man, we've already been chilling, like hanging out, whatever. Let's go climb a crane. So we went, and we it was like a bunch of guys from our group, and then 2 guys from up in Maine, Caleb and Silas, and we went to go climb a crane because climbing cranes is good fun. You want to climb a crane in a new city. And by the time we got to the crane, there were sirens pulling up. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, no way. Like, we literally been in this crane for like 10 minutes. We've been in the construction site for like 10 minutes. And like, in Philly, it takes cops like a fat like 30 minutes to arrive.
If they come.
If they show up. They just like slowly show up. And then they generally like look around a little bit. They're like, we can't see anyone. And they just kind of leave. And you just like go out after them.
Not in Canada.
But,
I wasn't there.
Dude, in Canada, he wasn't there. He stayed at the bar, actually.
I stayed at the bar
everyone
and
else
I got
was
drunk.
there. But we were up in the crane and the cops show up and they roll up and they're blocking the gates and we're like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we don't want to deal with this. Like, we're all kind of drunk from the bar. We're like, and the they pull out a megaphone and they're like, everyone who was up there, come down now and you will not get hurt. And we're like, oh my god, are you serious? Like, they're playing tough guy. So we go down, whatever, and like they were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, cause that's cops' game. Like, cops like to like get up on you and really try to intimidate you and like even if they're not gonna do anything, they're like just trying to really stick it to you, make you scared. So they play that fucking game. And it's like whatever. But yeah, and they were like, did you know, like, I didn't know this, but apparently if I get caught doing a crime in Canada, I'm not allowed back into Canada. So they were like, we could just make it so you can't come back to Canada. And I was like, damn it, I really like Canada. Please don't do that. And like they were really nice in the end, and they were like, look, just take your stuff, leave. They were really weird about photos though. They were like, do you guys take any photos up there? And we're like, no. And then he's like, if you take any photos up there and post them, that's a felony, and that's like a big deal. And we're like, what are you talking about? And then our friend Matt, he's like, no. He's like, did you take any photos? And Matt's like, nope. And the guy's like, let me see your camera roll. And Matt's like, I guess. And the guy's like, let me see your recently deleted. And the cop's like probing through his phone looking for photos. It was weird, dude. I didn't know what was going on. But eventually they were like, all right, you're all Americans. Like, we don't want to process this paperwork, so just go away and don't come back.
Is that really what they said?
I mean, it was the insinuation. Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
Cops are high-key lazy. They like there were several times. There were two times where we got out of getting our car searched because the cops were like, "Man, this looks like a fuck ton of work.
Just because
we're not doing
so
this."
much mess. It was so much a mess. It's disgusting.
I mean, yeah, we were in Minneapolis and we were just like hanging out with some of my childhood buddies since that's where I'm from. And cops pull up to the park we're at just because we're not supposed to be there. It's late. The park's closed. And this like cop rolls up. She's like, I definitely smell weed. She called us the fuck out. She was like, I smell weed. And we were just like nice. We gave her IDs. We were just like talking, hanging out. Like, you just gotta like be nice and cooperate and hope that they don't just stick it to you.
Yeah.
And she opens up the back of our van, which is like 4 bunk beds and just a fucking mess. And she's like, man, nope. I'm not gonna search that for just one like little gram of weed. I'm out of here, dude. Just like leave the park. And we got off.
We got off because our van was messy. Clutch.
Take that, Michaela and Jose.
They like to keep the van clean, but me and Kato don't give a shit. We let it get messy.
Out of control. Yo, so that's pretty cool. So with regards to the crane thing, how? I'm trying to figure out the best way to ask this question.
No, shoot it, man.
Okay, so I know that you guys are pretty well versed in the roof culture.
Sure.
You know, shtick.
Let me see that.
And
I've been climbing roofs for a while.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, that's all you, Kato.
What a surprise. Mine's bigger than yours.
Hey, all right.
That's what she said.
So.
I really hope that's not what she said, dude.
That's what he said, but you know.
So there's the guests I had on previously. We went to DEF CON, which is like a hacking convention, right?
Okay.
So
that
there's
sounds
like
fun as
lock
shit.
picking and stuff, and like different things like social engineering and stuff.
Okay.
That we learned a few things, and I know a couple things before I even went there, and one of the interesting things I learned there is about how you can put a drop key into like an elevator, and then you can get on top of it that way. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
I want to hear what you're saying, though.
Maybe I'll have to shoot you some links. I was just wondering, like, off the record, or like, hypothetically, I mean.
Hypothetically.
Isn't this recording
what are
right
some
now?
good methods to get to the top of buildings.
The
So,
stairs.
Hold up. So honestly,
Stairs are good.
first of all, we actually made a song about this called Rittenhouse. If you go to the Ceiling Children Instagram, we actually have a song called Rittenhouse, and which is in the description. You can check it out. And it's actually a song just about how we get on top of roofs. But honestly, hypothetically, some handy ways you can get on top of roofs is generally the problem is just getting into the building. Once you get into a building, most buildings, the stairs are really nice. It's a lot of flights, a lot of stairs to walk, but like suck it up. You're going to a roof, like you're not supposed to be there. So take the damn stairs. It's always safer to take the stairs than taking the elevator.
Allegedly.
Oh, like definitely take the stairs if you can. Like elevators
Isn't it funny how like when you get into a lot of these buildings, the stairs are vacant. No one's
there. No one's on the stairs. They're all on the elevator. Exactly. That's the
Why
thing.
would they take the stairs?
No one
knows
knows what's happening.
When I'm at like the airport or something.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm like, dude, let's go.
No
I'm not
one's
about
there.
To stand in this elevator.
Yeah, with all these
greasy
people.
fools.
Exactly.
I'm the greasy fool.
Take the stairs. Most like oftentimes like you'll get alarm doors. You just gotta check them. If they're alarmed, just leave. Like they're on their way, but like you can get out in time. If it's not alarmed, then go ahead and have your fun. But honestly, to get into a building, one, act confident, act like you're supposed to be there. So like you can just walk into the front of like hotels and be like, yes, I'm visiting this person, and if you say it the right way, like they won't like really prod you. You can just kind of keep on going.
Does your attire make a difference?
Honestly, it does,
It does.
but we just
I'm gonna dress
don't
the way I
have
wanna
nice
dress.
attire. But the honestly the other way that's really clutch is
Flying.
no, get to the second floor. So generally there's fire escapes on buildings and like fire staircase on the outside and like balconies and stuff, but they're not on the first floor, they're on the second. So if you have a bit of parkour training or rock climbing training or something, generally you can climb up to get to the second floor balcony, and generally those doors are unlocked. So you can then walk into the balcony, go down to the bottom floor, open the door to the bottom floor for the stairs, let your buddies in, and then you all walk up the stairs and hope the door isn't alarmed at the top. That is that's the number one trick, honestly. Other than that,
Is there good ways to identify if the doors are alarmed that you already see it and you're just like,
Yeah,
it's
you
not
you can usually see it, but a lot of the times the alarms aren't even a thing. You see the alarm,
not
you
really.
try it.
It's you really have to go up and try it. It
Yeah.
really comes down. You got to go up. You got to try the building, see what's happening, and then you'll know. Like the other things, you got to be okay with getting caught. Like you're gonna get caught
Yeah.
sometimes. That's like literally just gonna happen. And like if you're trying to go on roofs, like you have to know like that's something you have to be prepared for and be expecting it. Like
Security's gonna
that
come.
shit happens. Like sometimes you're not gonna get out in time. And like
Yeah, I mean,
there's like probably one of the most like iconic roof moments for me was me and my friends Chris and Burrito. We climbed a building at Rittenhouse Square in Philadelphia.
I know
Whatever.
the
It's like a
area.
big square, and there's just like fancy fucking apartment buildings. Like cost $1 million to rent these apartments, type of thing. And we're like, man, we want to hit these buildings. Like these buildings are the tightest, like on the edge of the square. And so we finally like we've just been like walking around this neighborhood, like hitting the smaller roofs, looking for the big ones. We're in the back alley of one, and we see that the gate to get into like the back alley where they keep the trash and everything is open. So we're like, oh, let's go in here. Well, we go in, and then we're kind of poking around a little bit. I climb up onto the second floor balcony, Chris and Burrito on the bottom, and then as I climb up, I hear voices, and out of the back bottom door comes like the contractor taking trash out. So Chris and Burrito are hiding in the corner behind trash cans. They're like literally like legit like curled up in little ball on the trash can as the contractor's taking the trash out. I'm up on the second floor, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what? And this is like 2 years ago, year and a half ago. This is like a while ago. But and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then
That's crazy.
eventually the contractor leaves, and I'm like, guys, like what? Like they're like, oh, somehow he didn't see us. Like Burrito's wearing like a bright neon green construction jacket. Somehow he doesn't see them. So then they
Well,
climb
he's wearing
up.
the construction jacket as
They're
like
like-
part of your methods to bypass.
No, we just like the way it
because we like
looks.
the construction jackets. Honestly, they're just fresh.
we
They're
stole them
fresh
and they're
as-
fun.
They're fresh as hell. But and like we were like, so then we all got up on the thing. We took the stairs up, went up to the roof. We're hanging up on the roof. We filmed some really cool parkour lines. There's actually on the Ceiling Children YouTube, Estima PP2. The first couple shots of that are the shots from this roof. And then while we're up on top, we see like 8 bike cops biking across Rittenhouse Square straight towards us. And we're like,
man, those bike cops are coming right for us. That's kind of sus. And then we're like, man, they're never for us. Like, it's fine. Like, no one can see us. And like, we're just running around on the edge of the building, like this super populated, like rich area in Philadelphia. We're like dumb as fuck. And then, so then we're leaving, we're getting down, and I was like shooting some like camera shots, trying to get some like B-roll of them getting down. We're on the ladder on the side of the building, like going down to the balcony where the stairs are, and this cop pokes his head over the wall, and he's like, get the fuck up here. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, really? And so we go up, and man, they are pissed. Like, they're losing their minds. They're like, how did you get in here? We're like, dude, we just walked in the back. Like, that's all that happened. And that one was a pain in the ass. We all got some trespassing tickets, but you gotta be prepared. The class. Okay, so the class is the most clutch thing in Philadelphia and some other major cities. Allegedly, New York. I've heard from my boy Tyler, right? Someone.
I don't
know. Whatever.
Big city
kind of thing. But in Philly, there's a class. It's called the Summary Diversion Program, and the way it works is if you get caught doing a misdemeanor thing like trespassing or stuff like it's like I don't even know like what else would people in the class for like something that's bigger than a traffic, like it's bigger than a ticket, but it's like it's a small crime. So it's like you're trespassing or you're in the park after dark. You're just being rambunctious on the sidewalk. You're out smoking weed. You're like you like drinking public.
Being loud.
Being like too loud. You like steal something from like a gas station or something. I got a guy in one of these classes who stole a muffin from the radio station. Whatever. Anyway, you get that kind of shit. You go into courtroom 404 and they say, all right, cool. You want to plead guilty, you want to plead innocent, or you want to take the class. You got 3 options. And the way it works is you plead innocent. You got to go to court and be like, yo, I'm right. Yeah. And you got to fight them. And like,
that costs money.
They don't want to fight. Then you say guilty. All right, fine. You just take the fine and walk out of there. They'll give you like a fine of like $300, $100. Who knows? It depends on the crime. But then if you say I'll take the class. What the class is the class is a like you go in at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. It's supposedly 4 hours. It's generally only closer to like 2. And you take a 4-hour class, and they're like, yeah, don't break the law, because you'll have to give us money. And they're just like super upfront about like how shit works and how the legal system works, and that's like low key bullshit. It's really cool actually. Like I'd actually recommend taking this class. If you're ever in this situation. But
take the class.
No, you gotta pay $200. You gotta pay $200 to take the class.
The $200 is cheaper oftentimes
than the ticket. And the way it works is after you take the class, they expunge the case from your record after 6 months. Okay? Now, the whole idea, though, is that you can only take the class once. I've taken the class 3 times. I just keep on taking the class. And I have, like, a criminal record from, like, out of Philadelphia where they don't wipe it. Because, like, we got caught in fucking Montgomery County, like, in Narberth, like, swimming in a pool. And they, like, don't wipe it there. Like, they don't have a system like that. So we had to pay the fine. But, like, now I have a criminal record for trespassing. So it's, like, it's just there. And I had a bench warrant for a sec, but I paid the fine. So now it's no more bench warrant. Word. He might still have one. He didn't pay the fine.
You silly.
He doesn't have any money, so we're working on it.
My Venmo is Kato Koehler. You can hook me up.
All right, definitely. We'll link that.
Can I get those water?
The internet is my safe way now.
Yeah. So you were saying like you were getting drunk while these guys were on the crane. Where do you get the money to drink in Canada, bro?
I saved up. I was pretty frugal up until Canada, since I was like, I definitely want to get fucked up in Canada, and that is exactly what I did. But yeah, Canada's lit. Shout out Max Ansel. He knows how to have a good time.
No doubt. So
get that man some White
We have
Claws.
a question from some guy named Pat. Shout out Patrick.
Shout out Pat. Oh, I'm not doing
What
that
are
no
you
more.
guys planning? As far as other projects, something to that effect. I can't read it though.
Other projects. Right now, actually, we're trying to do some collaborations with some people. We're also like legit, just like actually staying low key for like a hot second, just because tour was really tiring and
the build up to tour was just as tiring.
Yeah, exactly. So the past like 3 months have just been like literally. June, July, August were just like a shitstorm of just constant work for us.
We just stayed in our little room
and just made shit. And so like now we're tired. We're gonna do a big tour video. There'll be a big tour recap video. There'll be a tour jam recap video, which will come in like the next week or so. Other than that, we'll probably do some new music shit. eventually. And what is on my? It's a banana.
It's a
peel.
banana
You
peel.
bitch ass motherfucker. Other than that,
You're gonna slip on that, dog.
I am gonna slip on that. It's true karma. Other than that, who knows, dude? We'll figure it out one day. We're trying to learn how to play instruments.
We are trying to learn how to play instruments. If you live in Philadelphia and
Play
are
instruments.
and are good at teaching instruments,
Yeah,
to
if
people,
you want to teach us how to play the guitar,
come hang out in our van.
Come hang out in our van. We'll smoke you up.
Oh man. All right, yo. So we have another question from the avocado guy. Why don't you just get permission from these places, like getting waiver signed and stuff, so you can do filming on the roofs and stuff?
That's just not a thing. I've like legit tried. So like before I even did parkour photography, so like I went to like college for photography. That's like my thing. I like was barely doing parkour when I started photography, and like I've like tried to get permission from like places to like go up on the rooftops and like shoot photos and stuff, and it's just not a thing. And like I know a lot of other photographers where really if you're not like famous, they just don't give a shit, and they're just like, no, we just don't really care. Like, no, you just can't do that, and it's just not an option.
They
and
don't
like
want that kid up on the roof.
for me, there's just a weird situation where like I think things need to be explored, even if like you're not supposed to explore them. Like I want to see what's up there. I want to go there, and like
I think a lot of times too, like what's the reason? That
Yeah.
You want me there? You think
Like,
I'm gonna
why?
sue you because
Yeah.
I'm like doing reckless things?
there's a really crazy
You know what I mean?
there's a
I've been,
sue
like, I remember
culture.
when I was really into doing parkour, I used to get kicked out of places all the time. just
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
like,
Yeah, and they always bring up liability.
Yeah,
It's
like,
always
no, why would I sue you? Like
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
people are just afraid. It's that
You don't
fear
know,
thing.
you're not advertising that you're allowed to do this here. Like this is just me doing me.
There's
Let me do what I'm
there's like totally a sue culture in America, and it's like based on fear, where it's like I'm afraid that you're gonna do this to me and you're gonna sue me, because like there's like you can definitely do that in America. It's like a weird thing. Like in Europe, you can't sue people like that. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know they don't have the same like property issues. Like they don't have the same liability issues. So I don't know. That'd be cool if like one day that was like different and how that worked in America. But like who knows? Till then. You just gotta, I mean, like, also, like, honestly, we've also seen, like, a difference in approach as we refine our arguments and how we carry ourselves. So, like...
We used to just shout back.
Yeah, honestly, there
We
you
should
definitely
just
used to
shout
be a
'em.
situation where people would kick us off of spots, and we'd be like, no, fuck you! And we just, like, keep on training and just, like, yell at them. And then we realized that, like, that's not how you get the best response. Like, what's actually way better is having conversations with people. So now people will kick us off spots, and I'll just go to them and I'll be like, yo, like, what's up? Like, hi, my name's Elias. Like, how's your day going? Like, whatever. And then it's like, why don't you want us to train here? Like, is there a problem? Like, can we make this better? Is there something we can do to, like, allow us to keep us allowed to train here? And, like, some people are really nice, and some people, like, really have like had conversations, and some people are just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what you're doing is different and I hate it, go away. Like, actually, and people that just do crazy shit. We've like, there was a cop in
Reno, Nevada.
Reno,
Yeah.
Nevada
Yeah.
that legit
He pissed me off.
he fucking yelled, screamed at us. We were just like training, we were just like running around some walls, and he was just like, he was this giant fat cop, and we were just like, man, you clearly hate exercise, because we're like just trying to do parkour and stay in shape, and you're like, man, I hate this. And it was terrible. It was like,
He was so angry.
he was so angry.
He was livid.
He had so
For
much
no reason.
anger, and we weren't hurting anybody. Like, we were having conversations with students. They were like, man, what are you doing? We're like, we're doing parkour. They're like, man, that's so cool. Like, and they were talking. It was just a really great experience. And this cop was just freaking out, losing his mind. It was very, very unfortunate.
He
We were like,
refused
all right,
to-
dude,
to hold a conversation with
we're
us.
just going to go. We literally were like, man, if we stop training parkour and go off campus, will you have a conversation with us? And he's like, no, go away or I'm calling more cops. And we're like, what? Like, we're just standing here. It was so crazy.
So I think that's honestly awesome that you guys go out of your way to actually try to change the stigma. And that
Yeah.
kind of goes hand in hand like with your sticker thing. Not to jump onto that.
No
right
facts.
now, but
Sticker
we could
game.
definitely throw those up if you want.
Yeah.
So kind of, can you go into your like philosophy of like what made you guys decide to train the way you do, and even just promote yourselves the way you do? Like I was before the interview, I was kind of flipping through the Instagram, and like the one thing you did with the fire was pretty crazy.
Cool.
Like that was like, did that hurt? Like, did you lose hair from that?
No, but it was really scary.
That was way
There was a
scarier
fire
than we thought it
tornado,
was gonna
dude.
be.
We thought it was gonna be a nice, contained, maybe knee-high ring of fire, and then
For the record, just in case no one knows, what we did is we just poured a pool of gasoline around ourselves, and then lit it on fire, and then like told the camera about like some news we had, like some important stuff coming up and whatever.
But instead of that nice like knee-high fire, it was like
was,
up
like,
to our
it was
heads.
Raging
giant.
Inferno,
Yeah.
black smoke.
It was and there was
oh
like
my
black.
God.
We couldn't breathe. It was literally like get these. We had like little cards with our stuff on. We were like get these done as fast as possible, then jump out of this fire. It was like it was very different than we thought it was gonna be, but it was fun. And
It was still really cool.
It was a
'cause
cool
there's
experience.
A fire tornado.
yeah.
How's that not gonna be cool?
So kind of the way we developed what we do right now is so Riot was me and my friends Chris and Burrito, and we made a parkour team called Riot. And we thought it was dope as shit to jump on things and break things because we were 17 and we were like, whoa, we can break things, like let's throw this shit around, whatever. And later he came on board with it, and we made a couple videos, but there was some interesting issues where really there was kind of like no one giving it direction, and it was kind of just a bunch of friends being like, let's do a thing, and so nothing really ever happened. And so like we made a video and it was awesome, and then it took forever to mobilize and to do anything more because no one could really like pull the trigger on anything. It kind of had to be like everyone had to be motivated, you know what I mean? And so it was just this really slow and slogging process, and it was really frustrating for me specifically. And so basically then Kato had visited us in Philly a couple times, and his story, I'll just tell him really fast for him. He'll get into it more detail later, I'm sure, but he's from Minnesota, and he visited us in Philly. He's like, man, what these guys have is really special. It's really dope. And he flipped a coin, it landed heads, and then he dropped out of high school and moved to Philadelphia to come hang out with us and make stuff with us and live in a parkour gym. So
That was a good coin flip.
so it was good. Yeah, I'm ecstatic that coin flip happened the way it did. So we had this parkour team, and then there was beef. We were like kids, and we did some things to fuck each other over, and we were kind of dicks to each other, and we were lazy as fuck, and really nothing happened, and it just kind of fizzled. And then there was like big beef, honestly, between like me and my like best buddy Burrito, who I fucking love. We had some big beef, and then him and our bud Chris went one way, and me and Kato went the other way. And me and Kato were at that point like really kind of discouraged because we kind of lost our buddies and like kind of what was going on.
It really did hurt.
And we were hurting, and we were like fuck. But then we were like, I'm a very persistent person, and I was like, I'm not gonna let like this be the end of like Riot, because Riot was something like this crazy idea, and it was really special to me. And so we decided we were gonna try to make Riot something different. And so we made some new friends, and we got some new ideas, and with that we kind of had the idea for creating something a little more fluid than the idea of the current parkour team. And so we built a label, which is a company called Riot, which is based on these 5 values. The values are live fearless, question everything, trust and be trusted, pursue personal growth, and empower your community. And basically, these are like the 5 values that we think really embody how to be good at parkour, actually, and how to just be good at shit in general. And like, what do we know? Because we're just fucking kids, whatever. But it's like it's a little idea that we had, and so we spent some time talking to some smart people and talking to ourselves and having some great oracle sessions and coming up with these great values. And once we made these values, we kind of started to build up this little company thing. I started to make a lot more videos. We started just to make more shit. And basically, the structure we have for Riot is it's a label where me and Kato own a company, and our vision with that company is to inspire people to live fearlessly and to empower people to do some really incredible things. So the way we had tour set up is everyone on tour, we signed as artists for the length of the tour. So they kind of worked underneath Riot, and the reason we think that that's like the setup to make it work is because people, they get these big parkour groups together, and then there's really only like maybe 1 or 2 people who are forever interested in doing work, and everyone else is kind of phasing in and out, and they're just moving between things. They have real lives, like people have real lives, and they got to get shit done. And like me and Kato live fucking weird homeless lives, and like it's weird, and like we don't have like real life jobs because like we spend all our time doing this riot shit, and it's because we fucking love it, and that's like all I want to do with my life. So that's what I'm gonna do. But like, not everyone is there, and that's like okay. Like some people are like just trying to be there for the training sessions and to make dope videos, and like also some people are trying to be there for more than that. But like the label situation gives everyone the freedom to be involved when they want to be involved, and to take a step back when they want to take a step back. And the only people that really have to be involved always and keep the ball rolling are us two. And we kind of just made a commitment to each other that we're just not going to stop until we see Raya as something that we want to see it as. And we're just not going to stop at all. We're just going to keep on trucking and smacking our head against bricks until it works. But everyone else is just going to kind of like come and work with us. And I'm sure we're going to have artists that just stay with us forever because they fuck with us hard. But also, if an artist wants to work with us and then they're like, man, like I want to go do this other thing, then like no hard feelings. Go to that other thing. And like we're also not trying to stay just in parkour. Like we're founded in parkour, but like our mission is to inspire people to live fearlessly. Like that's our mission. And we think parkour is like the way to do that because parkour is just like a naturally fearless sport and has a lot of incredible like options there. But there's other ways too. So like I've definitely picked up skateboarding in the past year, and I think skaters are fucking fearless. They can do some crazy shit. And like Kato's been to rock climbing, and like there's some rock climbers that are incredibly fearless, do some incredibly fearless shit. And we cliff dive a lot, and we do crazy mega hikes, and we do our exploring, and we climb things, and like even making music, it's a level of vulnerability which definitely like involves like being fearless and having confidence in like your ability to just like show yourself.
Music was even scary just to start, just because it's a new skill that neither of us had any skills in. And we just like went for it.
So yeah, I remember seeing like in your van, you actually have like a little music studio situation going on.
What? Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, that's a whole ounce of weed, dog.
It looks like oregano.
It really does. It's just a shake.
It's shake, yeah.
Alright.
It is.
I'll take
I didn't even know that was on my head. Alright, so you were saying
in your van, you actually have like a little music studio set up.
Hell yeah, dude. Me and Kato live in that van, and we want to like be able to record and do what we want to do like in our van and be super mobile. It actually like worked out really well at fucking Origins in Vancouver. We have a homie Sean Higgins out of Denver, Colorado. Shout out Higgs Boson. And Higgs Boson jumped on the track with us, and we actually made a beat right there in the parking lot, and then recorded a fucking song right there. We all laid down verses.
So
it bangs.
What are you doing to put together the tracks?
We produced it in FL Studio. Yeah, FL Studio right there.
Produce everything in house, spit over it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Rinse and repeat.
But yeah, the recording studio. That's the move.
Yeah, if you need a guitarist on them tracks.
Oh yeah.
We'll
let you know.
We're both trying to learn how to play the guitar right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you guys were in the area, I'd be willing to.
It's a bit of a hike out from Philly for real.
I like that spot we were at earlier today.
It was a good one. Man.
That was a good spot.
I do like that spot. That spot bumps.
There is spots out here. It's true.
What's the address for that spot?
3rd and Spruce Records.
3rd and Spruce
in Reading.
That place bumps. Patrick, you were there. Patrick's gonna say something back to me. Just wait, guys.
I think I actually have some more stuff. Oh, nope. Same old stuff.
Nope. They hate us?
No, they don't. Just no comment.
I just heard that they hate us.
So, let's go back to your trips. You're in Vancouver now, and you hit other cities in Canada on the way back to the East Coast?
Specifically, we hit 2 cities in Canada, but they weren't like trips. We were like in Minnesota. We were in Wisconsin actually.
Okay.
And we were
Utah story is like a mess, dude.
I'm so good at this.
Before we went back to Canada, we went in Vancouver, and then we came back into the U.S.
Okay.
So we came back into the U.S. to get to Seattle. Well, that's when we went to Seattle, actually.
Okay.
And exactly Seattle, and then after Seattle, that's when we went to After Seattle,
And
we went to
Minneapolis.
No, we went to Montana. We stopped at Unparalleled
Missoula.
Movement in Missoula, Montana. That was very nice. And then we went to Minneapolis, and then we can come back to Minneapolis. And then after we went to Minneapolis, then we went back into Canada.
Yeah.
So that's how we got back into Canada. We're through northern Michigan.
Because we were like, we can go to Toronto, so we should.
We were really excited to go to Toronto.
We made it.
The
kinda.
second we got over the Canadian border, literally the second we got over the Canadian border, parked in a 24-hour grocery lot, our fucking van battery died, or we thought our van battery died. It turned out to be the alternator, but our alternator died, and we got stranded in this tiny ass town in Canada. And we were like, had to find a mechanic shop. Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, it's tiny ass town in Canada, like literally like a couple thousand people population in this town, tiny ass town. We find an auto mechanic shop, and there's like, man, like we can help you out, but we can't get the part for like 3 days. And we're like, we cannot be in this tiny town for 3 days because I have a gig in Harrisburg shooting our friends Riley and Justin, the Great American Tightwire Walkers. They rig a tightwire across a river, and I photographed them. So I had to be in Harrisburg in like 2 days. So we're like, we can't wait 3 days for this part. And so basically, what we figured out how to do is we ordered the alternator we needed across the river in the U.S. and we had to go back across to the U.S. to get this part and then bring it back into Canada to the repair shop because they couldn't order it across the bridge, so we had to go get it and bring it back to them. It was pretty awesome, but it was pretty crazy. But yeah, we eventually got out of Canada.
So tell me about that story, because I remember you made like an Instagram post. You're not allowed to walk the part over.
It was crazy,
so how did
dude.
you get it over? Like, what did you end up doing in that situation?
Basically there's a bridge, and I was like, man, it was me and my bud Matt. We were gonna be the ones to go pick up the part in the morning, and so we were like, man, we should go test out how we're gonna go across the bridge. So we went to go walk across the bridge, and then we go there, and there's this giant sign that says like no walking, and we're like, that's really weird. And so we went inside, and we're like, how do we get across the bridge? And they're like, well, you can drive a car, you can take a bike, you can ride a bike. And then we're like, oh, but we can walk. And they're like, no, like you can't walk across. And like, why? We're like, why can you ride a bike and not be able to walk across? Like, that's really weird, dude. And then she's like, well, you just can't. That's the rules. And then we're like, well, can we take our skateboards? Like, we don't have bikes. Like, we're not from here. We need to get back into our country. Like, and there's the only bridge here, and the next bridge is like hundreds of miles over. Like, there's no other crossing point. So we really need to get across this bridge. She's not being helpful at all. She's like, I guess you just find your own way. I'm like, what? She's like, what are you talking about? You're like, you're border security. You're like supposed to help us get across. Like, it's literally your job. And then eventually she's like, I think there's a bus somewhere that picks up at the mall. And so we end up going back to this mall, which is where our van's stranded and broken. We talked to the security guards, and eventually they help us track down this super obscure bus that runs once an hour and just goes across the bridge from like tiny town to tiny town. That's all it does. And so we got up in the morning, took the bus, got the part, took the bus back. It worked like a charm. The bus was very pleasant, but you would not know that bus exists unless you like did fucking digging. Exactly. And you can't walk across this bridge. So we were like, oh well, we're stranded in Canada. Like, how do we get out of here?
Dude,
it was pretty crazy.
Shop hooked it up.
The mechanic shop did hook us up. They were full, but they slid us in. They were super tight, super clutch. Canadians are just nice. There's nice people. They want to help you out. Like, honestly,
they were just like, oh man, these crazy American kids.
Exactly.
I'm trying to get them out of here.
They want to help us out. It was nice. It was very
That's
very
awesome.
nice. But yeah.
So then from there, you made it back. What was your next stop before Harrisburg?
Went to Toronto. We literally drove to Toronto. Like parked in a Walmart parking lot, slept, got up in the morning. We got up way later than we were supposed to. We're like, shit, we have to go back to Harrisburg. And we're like, well, we're into Toronto, we're into Canada. Weed is still legal here. Let's go to a dispensary and pick up a bunch of weed. And so we drove to a dispensary, picked up a bunch of weed, and then drove across the border to America. And that is where we actually almost got screwed, because the border security really didn't like us there. We just had one guy who just did not fuck with us. He was like super like, we're dirty hippies, and then he just like, he doesn't like dirty hippies, and so he pulls up and he's like, do you have any tobacco, weed, or alcohol in the van? And we're like, no, we don't have any of that. And then Burrito was like, well, we don't have any now. Like, we had weed back in Canada, but
Yeah.
we smoked it all. And the guy was like, all right, fair. Thank you for being honest. Honestly, we think that's what saved us. We think if Burrito hadn't been like, yeah, we smoked all our weed, I think he would have just called our bluff. And he would have, like, heavy looked. But, dude, the guy, like, snuck up on the side of our van and, like, tried to surprise open our slider door.
Joke's on you, bitch. The door broke.
The door's broken, so you can't open it without us, like, knowing. So, what's up? But, yeah. And then his bud was like, man, you guys are giving these kids a hard time for nothing. Like, they're not, like, just because you don't agree with their lifestyle doesn't mean you gotta, like, press them. And he was like, oh, and he grumbled and walked back to his stand. He's like, all right, you guys can go across the border. Made it back into America.
Yeah, that dude was nice. He said he had like 3 vagabonds that day.
Oh, the other guy? Yeah, the
he
other
was like,
guy.
yeah,
was
this happens
like,
all the time. He was nice. We had a conversation.
I wish he was very nice. The other guy, not the guy who was checking us out. But yeah,
He's a meanie. Unshout out. I hate you.
All right.
we're responsible.
And then you made it to Harrisburg for the photo shoot.
We made it Harrisburg, and that was really great. So there's the Capona Festival. It's like a festival that my boys Riley and Justin own a company called the Great American Tightwire Walkers with a guy named Blake Walenda actually. And you like Blake Walenda is super famous. He like recently did this. He walked across Times Square on a tight wire.
That's crazy.
They rid a tight wire over Times Square. It's pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, so that happened. And so what they do Capona Festival is they rig a tight wire over a river, and then they walk across this river on like this wire. It's like literally the size of my index finger, and there's like toot 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 across this whole
With,
river
like,
with a
With the
balance
pole,
pole.
yeah, and like this is nice.
Hell
This
yeah.
is casual.
And then this year they like did it at night, and they lit the ends of the pole on fire. It's
That's
pretty freaking cool.
Are those the same people that run that class at BBK?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think I met them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I never really like went over there to
Sure.
explore it, but
Yeah,
No,
they're
but yeah.
actually now
there's
doing
some
classes at
juggling over there with
Waldorf
Pat, I guess.
this Friday, I think.
No. Yeah. That's them. They're awesome.
So if people want to see the pictures that you took, where's a good place to look?
You can look at one of my photo Instagrams, photos from the 215. I'll put them up there eventually, or you can just go to Justin Tightwire or
Riley, what? Shit.
Riley
We're bad
Wirewalker,
friends.
Riley Tightwire. We'll just go to my Instagram. You'll find them. Like, it's not hard to find them on my Instagram. They're like my buds, so like they're there.
But we don't know their Instagram.
But we don't know their Instagrams. But yeah, they're on Instagram. You can.
I was having a hard time finding yours earlier.
I was having a hard time finding yours too.
It's
Instagram
hard
is
to
weird.
find things on Instagram. Yeah.
Like it seems like whenever I type B, you're one of the people that shows up. But when I'm like actually looking for someone, they're just like,
It's weird algorithm stuff.
No doubt.
algorithms.
All right, so you touched on like some of the projects that you're interested in doing next, but are you going to be looking at doing another tour anytime soon?
Yeah, definitely. Ride Tour 2, definitely.
Riot Tour 2.
We have a van, so like it's way easier this time around because like
It's not like we're gonna like be
we
stressing
already
about building
have
a van.
this shit. We're definitely gonna do another Riot Tour. I mean, so like the way that we make money through Riot is we sell these shirts, like this shirt and this shirt. These are our shirts. Can you see them, camera? Do you see this? This is not that deep. This is the first shirt we ever made.
I'm doing that thing that you did.
And then this is a trust shirt that we made right before tour. But we make money selling these shirts. That's like how we do shit. And so we only sell the shirts in person. We don't sell them online. That's like part of our thing. Cause like if you're gonna buy our shirts, like you should really meet us. Cause we're really intense. And if you're gonna rep our shirts, like you should know what you're repping. Like legit. And
Be whack.
so it's cause also we just want to meet the people who run our shirts.
I want to hand someone the shirt they're gonna
Yeah,
wear. That's fun.
exactly.
That is a really cool experience every single
So
time.
we're definitely gonna go on more tours and sell more shirts. So yeah, that's definitely gonna happen.
And you guys screen print these yourselves?
We screen print and we also
These are screen
this is
printed.
heat press actually.
That's vinyl cut and heat press.
This is heat press. That's screen print.
But yeah, we do everything.
Yeah, we
by
do
hand.
everything in house. All the designs are in hand.
He does a lot of the
Yeah.
vinyl cutting and
Yeah, I like the clothing.
but yeah.
No, that's super cool. So you said you're putting like the label and everything together. Do you have like a sustainable plan on how you're gonna grow it and make it actually sustain your lifestyle, or is it already doing that for you guys?
It's supplementing our lifestyles.
Okay.
So like basically like the way we make the way our income set up is like Kato works at PPK, the gym in Philadelphia, and he makes some money off Riot, and then but really the money we make off Riot, none of it touches our pockets. So we put all that into a Riot bank account, which then funds other Riot projects. So
Like the tour and everything.
like
the tour,
like helps fund the tour.
merch.
Honestly, the van I paid for out of my
Yeah.
pocket.
Oh wow. dude.
It's our
but
house.
The tour everyone pitched in a bit, and that really went really far. Everyone like pitched in for gas basically. And we actually like spent way less than we thought we would on gas. It was pretty cool.
People got their money back. It
People
was
got some
tight.
money back. It was tight, yeah.
Fun surprise.
But yeah, I mean like Kato makes. I just have like a bunch like little side hustles I run to like make some money, and then I did work at PPK. I just stopped working there for the tour and for some other stuff. But yeah, we also like live on like no money. That's like kind of our thing. Is like we're really good at like just like not having a lot of money and
Yeah.
just like kind of cruising. Because like comfort isn't like a lot of people spend a lot of money on comfort, and like in all honesty, like I don't really need to be that comfortable.
Yeah.
And I would rather make a difference than be comfortable, and that's like kind of my mantra. And Kato just like is a raccoon, so he just lives in his own trash, so he just doesn't notice where he is.
Dude, I just find
like-
food sometimes. I'll be like walking down the street. I'm like, yo, that looks like a nice half-eaten sandwich.
It's exactly. So we're kind of like we got a little system figured
Sometimes
out.
if
We're
I'm with
working
my
on it.
friends, they stop me from doing that though.
That's true. We don't
Because they don't want me to
We
succeed.
try not to let him eat
They're
food off the
snakes.
ground.
You guys are all snakes.
Snakes.
I'm out of my mind. Dude, how are you gonna walk by a perfectly good sandwich and be like, that looks like a good sandwich. It belongs on the ground. That's stupid. I just said that out
don't
loud,
wanna
and I'm like,
trouble
that's a
you."
stupid sentence.
I don't want to smoke, bro. You do you, homie.
I want a lot of smoke.
You get it.
If you have free weed, give it to me.
All right.
But I mean, as far as like the company making money and stuff, we've only had it Riot set up as a company for like we
8
set
months,
it up
9
yeah
months.
for like 8-9 months. And that's like when that's when me and Kato first laid down like the our values and like what we wanted the company to be built on was like 9 months ago. So like we feel like we made a pretty decent turnaround, and like we actually are making profit off the clothing, which is really cool. And which is all just going right back into funding more Riot things.
Yeah.
But like
It's super rad. We
But-
like started a thing and it worked.
yeah, it's slowly working. It's slowly making things. But like, you know, like every kid who does parkour has this dream that they want to be a pro parkour athlete. Well, let me tell you, as someone who is technically a pro parkour athlete, because I competed in NAPC. I have a shirt that says North American Parkour Championships.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like I got a shirt that says I'm a pro on it, so I guess I'm a pro. So, but like. There is no like pro parkour is like not a real thing except for like a couple people. Like everyone who is on
the Red Bull.
like if you're a Red Bull
Promotion thing.
sponsored athlete, then odds are you actually have pro parkour.
The Red
And
Bulls
there's
have
probably
that.
about like 15 people in the world who are like on that thing. But like at NAPC, which is like the parkour competition, like the athletes in all of North America and like a lot of international athletes, everyone there, no one there is making their full-time living from parkour. Like a couple people, like the people on the podium, and that's about it. Everyone else is pulling together whatever hustles they can so that they can keep their parkour dream alive. Like there's no money in parkour. Pro parkour is
Yeah.
not real. It is an illusion. Like if you're in parkour and you think you're gonna make money from parkour, bro, find a new sport. Find this like skateboarding is more lucrative than parkour at this point, and there's no money in skateboarding either. So like you gotta find like different ways to like make that money work, and like, you know, maybe
I mean, dude, Max Podium, he still works at Target.
exactly, yeah, like
He still works at
our
Target.
Max Anto, one of the best
Best
parkour
parkour
athletes in the world, works at Target because like there's no money in parkour, and like dude, I was working at the gym. I'm about to start working at a Goodwill because like we got hustles, you know what I mean? You got your side hustle, like you got to make shit work.
Parkour is an incredibly young sport.
Yeah, there's no money in parkour. Like if you can make any money from parkour, holy shit, you're living the life, man. Like for real. So,
rad.
but yeah, like I'm okay with it not making money, but like in the future, like if it impacts people and if it can like make a positive difference in parkour and how parkour is viewed, and like we can make art happen, we can just make beautiful things happen, then like who needs money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where all the money goes.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that, man. That's a really like a lot of people like it's awesome that's like the first line of your thing, live fearless. People are so scared to escape that bubble of comfort, man.
For real.
It's crazy how complacency is like a drug almost, you know?
It
it is
is
a
a drug.
drug.
Absolutely.
It's
It,
so
like,
nice to be just complacent
Yeah.
and like be happy with that.
Yeah.
But that's not the way things happen.
Yeah. I think anyone that's really committed to any sport that's got really, I think, like, one thing that, like, jiu-jitsu that I do a lot of lately and parkour have in common is
yeah.
the guys that train that grind. Like, there's some casual
Yeah.
stuff, but, like, there's some serious dudes that are, like,
Yeah.
getting after it every day. Like,
Sure.
you do, like, the one every day.
I train
The-
daily.
He
Yeah.
trains daily.
Yeah,
I
the
put-
daily post thing. Or
Yeah,
whatever
I
you were telling
train.
me
I
about.
train parkour every single day, and I have an Instagram for it. Move Fearless, and I just
Yeah.
post on that once a day. I train parkour or skateboarding really because my knees hurt, so a little bit less parkour recently. But yeah,
No, that's awesome, man.
just constant training.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do you see yourself on a like realistic timeline in your mind of like where you want to be in X amount of years or like if I hit this age, like is this where if it's not at this point I need to make a different decision?
I don't
Or...
like to assign times to things because like I really just don't know. But my goal is to rule the world. I want to like literally rule the world in a way through media. I think that like that the I think that there's an illusion perpetrated by a lot of media and by a lot of like how our culture is set up that like doing things that is scary is bad, that scary means bad, and that if you do something scary you're gonna get hurt or this bad thing is gonna happen to you, and that because that like bad thing happens to you you shouldn't do it. And I think that is like the most counterintuitive notion ever. Like you literally have to get hurt and you have to try new things and you have to learn, and that's the only way to make your life better. And I have seen so many people just give up on other things because they were scared, because they were like, man, that's just too scary to go on the other side of this. And like life is fucking short, and like honestly like I'll never stop giving up like doing what I love. Like it may change, it may not be parkour, I may not do parkour in like 5 years, I don't know, but I'm gonna be doing something that resembles something like beautiful. Maybe I'm gonna like fucking just be like want to skateboard all the time, or maybe I'm gonna say screw that, maybe I want to like dive off cliffs. Maybe that's like the thing that becomes like the thing I want to do, and like I'm gonna fucking do that, and I'm gonna like that's all that I'm gonna really care about, because like life is super short. Like my inspiration for like why I'm like so fucking vicious at what I do is that when I was like 15, my best friend died in a motorcycle accident. He was like 18 at the time. Just like random shit. Flew into a tree, boom, dead. And that's like really intense when like a teenager is just gone.
Yeah.
Because he was the person I started parkour with, and we'd always been like, man, like I wanna get good at parkour, like I wanna do this dope shit. And he never really had the opportunity to do that because just like fuck shit, you know. And for me that was just like really hard and really sad to like see him not be able to do that. And so really the only like solution I had in my mind is, well, then that means I just kind of need to double. Like I need to kind of live double. I need to live for myself and for him, and I need to just kind of like do everything that he would have wanted to see happen, but like how I need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like my boy Luke was just like the most fearless individual. He just like did what he loved doing, and he didn't really care if it was scary, and that was just super inspirational. And like, man, people they gotta give their shit a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep on saying that until I'm dead. So that's kind of my thing. I'm not gonna like give up on that.
That's awesome.
So
Brad, what do you think the most learning experience you've ever had is?
The biggest learning experience?
What single event do you think you've learned the most from?
Having a kid in high school.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
I think I remember the first time I held my son in my arms and I like looked at his little gray, uncolored eyes. I was just like, man, like that just was the moment of clarity where I was like, all right, like it's my whole life goal now to make sure that you're okay.
yeah.
You know, that changed everything. Because me, like, I wanted to go like be in the Air Force and like blow people up. Like that was
Cool.
like what I wanted to do. You know, when I first
Yeah.
found out that was a job, I'm like, yep. Alright, so
You can be in a plane and boom.
Yeah, like I can cause massive like wanton destruction.
I-
Give me power. You know what I mean?
Dude, I respect that. I want a tank.
You know what I mean? Well, and you know, I was in the military and I got out, and after being in, it's just crazy what you think when you're so young to what you think when you are an adult and you actually have some life experience.
Yeah.
There's no good and bad team
Yeah.
in war, man.
No.
It's crazy, you know, and it's crazy that my perception on that is so much different now than it was back then, you know.
Absolutely.
War is necessary, but man, what I had thought back in the day that I was going to go blow up bad guys
Yeah.
couldn't have been
It's not real.
further from right.
Sure.
But yeah, to answer your question, my son changed my whole perception on life. That was the biggest thing that ever happened to me, I think.
It changes the game.
changed
At that
the
point, it's not
entire game.
about you anymore.
Exactly.
Until then, it is about you. It's about what you want and what you think is the best. But now, that does just flip the game up on its head.
Yeah, really
That's
did,
really
man.
interesting.
So I'll throw one back at you. Same question.
Mine's really similar to Elias. When I was 16, I had a really close friend take his life, and that was an L, man. That's just not fun. It was like, that's when I lost the opportunity to be a kid, and I struggled to have that opportunity either way because of my family situation. So, like, the thing that I struggled the most with, I feel like, up until then, was like, man, how can I make these opportunities to just, like, be a kid and have fun? And, like, not feel bad. But that was, like, taken away from me when I needed it the most. And learning what the world really was, which is actually, I think the world's a pretty dark place. But people have the power to make it not dark around them. Like, I know there are so many people in the world suffering right now, but the world around me is so good, and I can make it better. So I have to. And I think that's where real strength comes from, is the ability to acknowledge that the situation is bad, and then still, like, fight to make it better. And I had to learn to be that. And in doing so, I ended up just flipping a coin. And I ended up here. And now I'm in this bus. And life is beautiful.
I'll drink to that, bro.
But getting there was hard. And I learned a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Kato, for sharing. So,
Thank you for sharing.
yeah, do you guys follow Jordan Peterson?
A little bit.
Yeah, I've watched
Yeah,
some of
man.
his interviews.
He's
Oh,
yeah, on Joe Rogan is kind of where I found out about him.
Yeah, he's
And,
quick. He's
Dude,
bright.
he's so his lectures are just they're on YouTube, and just
Yeah.
being able to like watch those and ponder that stuff, I think that's so amazing. And the fact that like you guys are kind of growing up where social media and everything, it's already there for you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's been there since you know, probably.
We're fucking little.
Yeah,
it's
you know
it's
what I
called the
mean?
information age for a reason.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
We're blessed.
I think
In
yeah,
some
you,
ways,
you
yeah.
guys definitely are
Yeah.
jumping into trying to market yourselves this way, like,
Sure.
at the right time
Sure.
in human
Mhm.
history. You know,
Yeah.
this has just become a thing.
Yeah.
You know, no one else thought to take the handle of Riot Parkour yet. You
I know, right? Yeah.
In
Yeah.
100 years, bro, all the good email addresses are gonna be
They're
gone.
gonna be so gone. Sure, we still want that. We don't want Riot Parkour. We want Riot. But the person who owns Riot said he would sell it to Kato for how much?
$5,000. That dude was cool as shit. I had a conversation with that dude.
$5,000 for the Riot handle.
And
That's why we don't have Riot.
To
'Cause
be
we
fair,
don't
I
have
didn't know what was happening,
$5,000.
Since I was like, what do you mean it's $5,000 in Instagram name? But it's Riot. It's like a single, very powerful word. And so, of course, that name's going to be off. I'm an idiot. But that dude is like, yeah, this name could make me a lot of money. And I'm poor. And he said that he was poor. And I was like, I'm poor too. And we actually had like a really cool interaction where we connected because of that. And I was like, dude, I respect that fucking hustle. That's genius. You can just make Instagram accounts and you have $5,000. And he's like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. It legit keeps my lights on. And I was like, man, I have no qualms with walking away without this handle. Like, I learned more about the world. This dude
We
was
still
cool.
want the right handle.
Yeah,
so
if he's hearing this and wants to hook
if
me
he's
up,
hearing
Yeah.
this, please give us the right. It represents
got-
our brand better.
You guys should do like a GoFundMe. Like, yeah, we're trying to buy this handle.
Facts. GoFundMe's are tricky because like
I don't know.
if
I
no
have
one
to feel good
funds
about
you,
it.
then like it just doesn't happen, and that's lame. I don't want to like put an
Yeah.
idea out then not make it happen.
We gotta make it happen.
There's other crowdfunding things. Like I used to have solar power on this bus.
Yeah?
There is a solar panel up there now because we're
Oh,
rebuilding this.
yeah?
We have one.
No,
We'll talk about
we
it.
don't want that.
He said we'll talk about it.
We don't need it.
We really want. We don't need it, but we really want it. We really want it.
But I took those down to Puerto Rico, right?
Mm.
But I did a crowdfunding thing for that because Hurricane Maria, the biggest hurricane to hit
Yeah.
Puerto Rico in 100 years, came through and just laid waste to their infrastructure.
It was awful.
So I have family down there, and I was like, okay, so I can do something about this. And at the time, I wasn't really doing anything with my bus. My band had disbanded. That I was, I bought this bus to be a tour bus.
Yeah.
And I took everything down and I shipped it down there. And fuck Southwest for not taking care of the one panel, and we lost one panel.
That's
Fuck Southwest.
Fuck Southwest. Hashtag fuck Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking the bus of the sky. These nuts. Anyway, so I took the solar panels down there and I set them up down there to give
That's
my
awesome.
grandparents power.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Fucking beautiful.
yeah. Thanks, man. But yeah, so
I'm shaking his hand.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give him a fist. I'm gonna shake his hand on that one.
But I don't remember exactly where we were going with this, but that's just
Bro.
one situation where you can identify a problem and just tackle it.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
beautiful.
have the
That's
resources,
amazing.
Go after it.
Then make it
Yeah.
happen.
So wait, Southwest really just robbed this lady of a solar panel.
Really?
Rob
Is that
your
is that the
grandparents.
truth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, Southwest
Well,
robs
like,
old people.
I tried to hit them up and be like, yeah, so I called you before, did all your recommended practices for keeping this thing,
Yeah.
I foamed it the fuck up. Like
Yeah.
it was well insulated in its box.
Yeah.
And then it was jacked up, and I have a video. I actually made a short documentary on it. I didn't say fuck Southwest in that, but this is my podcast now.
Fuck Southwest. Yeah.
But
I'll
yeah,
say it
just
for you.
just saying that's just one, example there.
Oh God.
You alright there, homie?
I was holding it by the cap, and then the cap was like, "See you later," and I thought I
Alright.
just spilled a gallon of water.
Hasta la vista.
No doubt. So, no, that's awesome, man. I think the fact that you guys have been able to create a really respected brand despite, doing all the crazy stuff that you're doing is really powerful. And the fact that you're actually having these conversations with the cops and everything. What are some examples of shitty situations that you've had to go through? What was the worst cop story you have, or maybe a good cop story?
Well, I like a good cop story because the
Yeah.
cop in Reno was fucking mean as shit. But actually, maybe an hour later, we got kicked from a different spot on the same campus. And the cop comes up, and the first thing out of her mouth, and at this point we're thinking oh fuck, because we just had a really awful time speaking with another officer. She's like, oh man guys, I know I'm ruining the fun, but you guys got to get out of here. And Jose and Burrito were doing this jump together, and I think Burrito got it first.
Yeah, Burrito got
Yeah.
before Jose, and then Jose hadn't gotten it
And
yet.
Jose hadn't gotten it, and I explained the situation to her. I'm like, hey, these guys are doing this challenge together. One of them just got it. The other guy has one more. Can we get that one more? And instead of yelling at us or being mean, she got it. She was just like, well, I'm going to go this way now. You guys better not be back here later. And she just got back in her car, drove away. We did our one more, left.
Yeah.
Tight as
sometimes
shit.
sometimes people are just chilling and they just want to let it slide. I think one of my when I was a kid, I had two really bad cop experiences. And one of them where I was homeschooled as a kid, and I was 13 with my friend walking his dog in a park during the school day, and some cops roll up onto the grass of the park with their sirens on, and they get out of the car and they start yelling at us. They're like, "You're cutting school," and we're like, "What are you talking about? We're not cutting school. We're genuinely not cutting school." And they're freaking out us that we're cutting school, and we're like, "We're homeschooled. We actually are not cutting school," and they start making fun of us actually. So they ask for our names, our ages, our heights, and whatever, and our weights. It was really weird. They're asking a bunch of information, And my friend, they were like, how much do you weigh? And he's like, oh, I weigh 100 pounds. And he was really skinny at the time because he had like a weird disease that just made him super skinny. And the cop was like, oh, less than that. And started making fun of him for his disease. And this cop is making fun of a 13-year-old in a park. And I'm standing there and I'm like, this is what cops are doing. Like, really, this is how they're like interacting, like protect and serve. My ass. Like,
the
you're
cop
just
makes
making
a
fun.
one-liner. They're like, I got him.
Making fun of a child. Like, you're a fucking bully.
I don't
That
know,
was,
bro. It sounds like he served them pretty.
dude.
good.
It was terrible. It was so bad. I was just like, it was just like mean. It was so harsh and mean, and like, I think that there's like, at least I personally had that experience and another experience where like my like 13-year-old brother got a gun pulled on him because we were like in an abandoned building, and the cops came out with a gun, and he was a little kid, and it's just like it. I just like
Whack.
it's just whack, and I think that I think the issue with police actually is based entirely in fear. I think Riot has the solution for like America's cop problems. Like there's this problem where America doesn't train its cops. They're just like, oh yeah, here's like 8 weeks of training. Now here's a gun and go enforce the law, which is like a terrible plan. Part of it is that there's like a crazy situation where like there's definitely like we were talking earlier about how the guy pulled his wallet out and it looked like a gun.
Yeah.
And like that's like a specific situation. But there's also situations where cops just shoot people unprovoked. Like
They're
actually.
like, oh man, this guy looks scary.
Yeah, and then they shoot him. Like there's a video of like them walking up to a guy who's like asleep in his car.
Yeah.
And then they just like riddle him with bullets. And it's crazy. And I think it's because they're afraid. Is
Yeah.
that oftentimes police are afraid of the situation because they're just people. There's people just like us. There are people with a badge and a gun, but there's really no difference, especially if they have 8 weeks of training. Like cops in other countries go through years of training. Like think about it. If you went to a doctor and you're like, do you have a college degree in medicine? And they're like, no, but I have an 8-week certificate. I took this 8-week course and I'm gonna do your checkup. And you'd be like, I don't trust that. That's so sus. I'm going to a different doctor. Like you wouldn't accept a doctor without a college degree. That would be crazy. But then why do we let our law enforcement, people with guns who can actually kill people, not like a doctor, but actually just end someone's life? Why do we give them 8 weeks of training? It's crazy. So they come out here and they're just like kids or they're just old people or whatever, and they're just afraid. And so they see a situation like, oh my god, I'm terrified, and they pull their gun and they shoot.
Yeah.
And I think it's not because they're bad people. It's not because they're malicious. Most of the time, at least, it's not because they're like these terrible racist people, but they have these crazy stereotypes inflicted in their minds, and these crazy like things pounding off in the back, and then these situations happen which they're just not trained for and they're not ready for. They're just thoroughly mistrained, and their first reaction is to shoot, and it's terrible. It's fucking awful.
Really sad.
It's really sad. But it's not. I don't think it's a situation where cops are evil. I think it's a situation where we like the whole
system.
establishment of being a cop. Like I've talked to some cops before and about like being in the force, and apparently there's just a real situation where like it's very, very toxic, where it's just like very power conducive, where the longer you're in the force, you're just like more surrounded by the idea that like we have the power, you know what I mean? And there's this really like super militariest, like I mean you're ex-military, like you know the drill, where it's kind of like this is the club, like this is what's up, like and it's like I think it's really toxic, and it's just like, and they're not bad people, but they enter a system that's literally meant to
The system doesn't give them a fighting chance.
to make them afraid, make them like it doesn't prepare them properly, and then it just perpetuates cycles. So like it's in everyone's, it's in like, well, whatever. I'm not sorry. I'm not gonna delve into that.
I think there's corruption everywhere, though.
It's true.
I think you become jaded from your experiences on the job too. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people that go into the cop, job thinking like, oh, I want to make my city better. Like I was born and raised here.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I just got out of
100%.
college with a criminal justice degree.
Yeah.
So I want to make my town better.
Yeah.
And then they go in.
I'm sure they maintain that.
But they go in trying to make a situation better, and then eventually they have that crackhead that pulls a knife on them, and it's just like they get stabbed or something.
That's
and
fair.
then they become jaded, and
That's fair.
Like you said, man, the world's hella complicated and crazy, so it's hard to gauge what is necessary. So like I was saying, the fact that you're actually going out of your way to have these conversations with the cops, dude, that's doing so much work for parkour.
Thank you.
That is like incredibly necessary, more than almost anything else that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Seriously, like that's such a huge thing. The fact that you're making the culture respected, that goes further than the amazing jumps that you're doing. You know
I mean, well, like there's Philly skateboarding is notorious for just saying fuck off. like that's like Philly skate is just like fuck off. Like we're gonna skate here, and if you don't like it, we'll hit you with our skateboard. Like that. That's the Philly skate idea, and that's a really enticing idea for a bunch of teenagers. But also like, if you want to skate the spots, like that's not how you skate spots. Yeah. Like it's way better to build up rapport, and like it's different with skating because in skating you are generally destroying the spots while you're skating it. In parkour you're generally not, because we're just like walking on it. We're not like grinding metal against it or anything. So like, and you're not always destroying the spots with skateboarding, but like oftentimes. Parkour generally not.
Times you're gonna make some dents on some marble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, but I mean, parkour sometimes you're gonna break things, but I think who knows, whatever.
But like the things you generally break in parkour are already like kind of fucked up. Like that railing you jump to that like comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
And you just then check it. You're just knocking it out.
Yeah, but yeah, just conversations, man. Being open and honest and just like candid. Like we're here because we're just trying to get some exercise and have fun and like
the people at Cokes we know. We talk to the people at Cokes and they like know who we are.
There's also a situation I think where families will be like parkour will be like public parks, and they kind of like screw themselves because they're like loud and they're yelling and cursing around these little kids, and the families take issue with them, and then they'll like call the cops and they'll be like, hey, there's these fucking teenagers like fucking shit up, you know what I mean? And then the cops come kick them out. But if you're just like chilling at the park where the kids are, then like you're gonna get kicked out less. So like there's definitely like different ways to handle it, and like
well, we were just training earlier, and like Kato was encouraging some people that were like watching to try it out. Like I'll do this jump, but you have to do that jump.
You gotta try it. Yeah, exactly.
You just gotta bring them in, because like I think parkour is a pretty inclusive sport. I think a lot of people can just like pick up parkour, since like you don't start parkour by just like hucking yourself at the 10-foot roof gap. You do like the 2.5-inch standing position to a curb at the start, on your first day. And I think in that way, like parkour has a really, really, really like low skill floor, and it's pretty open. I mean, as you get higher up, it gets like far more difficult, but I think it's super approachable.
The fact that it's inherently not a competitive like sport, if you want to even call it a sport. Like the way I always described parkour when I was heavy into it was like it's not a sport, it's a lifestyle. Because really it is, man. It changes the way that you look at your environment.
For sure, absolutely. I mean,
I think any sport can be a lifestyle.
I like to refer to it as a discipline, and kind of keep it in some kind of the same vein as like a martial art or something, because it really does give you a different set of eyes to kind of look at things, and a different perspective and a different way of kind of like channeling things. Yeah, and that's like clearly different than like baseball or something. Like baseball isn't gonna like refine your worldview or something, which like I don't know. Yeah,
definitely.
But call it a sport too, It's
good to call it a sport.
It can be a sport,
so we can market it.
Yeah, but I mean, it can also be both. It can be a sport and it can be discipline, because like SPL is the competition that competition thing that I compete in. It's Sport Parkour League. And like for them, it is a sport because it has rules. There's like a rule set and boundaries to like what they're doing. You know what I mean? Inside of SPL, but parkour outside of SPL doesn't always have to be a sport. Like parkour can be a sport, or it can be a different thing. It can be a discipline. You know what I mean? Because maybe I'm a competitive athlete. Like I'm fucking training to go be the best, and maybe not be the best, but be up there and like push the sport. Yeah, exactly. And like for me, it's a sport, but like for
me, it's different.
Yeah, for Kato even. Yeah,
I like to jump on walls. I think it's an incredibly enticing activity. It's super fun. It gets me exactly where I want to be in a headspace. Keeps me fit. It's scary and I like that. Hello. But like I'm definitely not trying to like beat Max Ansel. You know what I mean? Dude, shout out Max Ansel. He landed double side free. But
he did do a double side flip precision.
But I also want to realize that activity in my life to the fullest potential. So
yeah.
But I might realize that training in a different way than Elias, because we have two different goals.
Yeah. Parkour is different for everyone, and that's okay. That's A-okay. Just like anything else, any other art. it's different. Everyone's gonna handle it in their own way and love it in their own way, and that's what's up. We need casual parkour practitioners. We need like diehard parkour practitioners. We need everything in parkour. Like really,
we
what
need
we
people
need.
who like to watch parkour.
Yeah, we need people who don't do parkour and just like, man, I want to watch parkour. Like that's what we need. That's you build economy around a sport. Like
look at football.
yeah, look at football. Have the
That's
people
an
who watch
industry,
football
dude.
do like. There's no way any of those people are playing football anytime soon. They're on their couch with their potato chips and their beer, and they're loving it, and they're not playing football. Like if we had that demographic in parkour, there'd be money in parkour. Like I could not live in a van, guys.
We could have a nicer van.
Like any other sport, I'm one of the top.
have a whole school bus.
Well, we could have a whole.
You could have a whole
we could have
thing.
an RV.
We could have an RV, right?
We could have a house and an RV.
Because I compete in NAPC, I'm probably one of the top 100, maybe top 200 parkour athletes in the world. In any other sport, if you're a top 200 athlete, you're chilling. Think if you're a top 200 athlete in baseball, dude, you're cool. You have $1 million. You know what I mean?
And we like
But,
$1 million.
But in parkour, no, that just isn't a thing. That's just not how it works.
So have you looked into sponsorships and different things like that?
I mean, yeah, but
sponsorships
aren't really looking like what we're doing, because we're over here being super candid about we're yeah, we're getting arrested and doing our drugs, and Gatorade doesn't want to sponsor that.
Yeah,
Gatorade's dude, I'll stay over here, and that's okay.
I'm sure you can find something that's about that. I know, I'll give you an example. In jiu-jitsu, there's the High Roller Society.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They have it's they're all about doing jiu-jitsu high.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
really?
High Roller.
You know
I
what
like
I
that.
mean?
That's a good name.
You know what I mean? And it's a legitimate thing where there are CBD companies that are interested in sponsoring
for
them,
sure.
and even different companies that make different types of clothing that want to support.
Yeah,
them,
man.
you know
I
what
mean,
jiu-jitsu specific clothing.
If someone wants to sponsor me, hit me the fuck up.
Look through them hashtags, man.
I'll take a look at some sponsors. I mean,
what I would do is if I were in your position,
yeah,
and I was getting after it the way you are, is I would look at the people that I look up to and look in their bios, see who's sponsoring them.
I mean, but it's
I'm sure, and like I said, it's not going to be just everybody. You have to find the ones that support your mission,
Sure. I mean, yeah. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
also,
vet 100 companies
because
before you find
parkour is
the
so
one.
small, even being on the stage of being able to compete at a high level, there's still only only the top top are getting those sponsorships, and the ones everyone wants, and there's parkour brands sponsoring people, and I think I don't know, who knows, maybe I could do sponsorship if I really wanted it. I haven't really put in that energy or effort.
Well, if you look at it this way, right?
Who knows?
So if there, for me, I'm trying to start this Twitch thing with the gaming, right? And that took a lot of trial and error to find out what's going on with that.
Yeah.
To get any kind of money out of it.
Sure.
We finally just started scraping a few surfaces.
Yeah, exactly.
We got, our first $10 or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't from a live event.
Hell yeah, exactly.
We're actually getting through doing live streaming or selling merch on the internet itself without the live events. One of the things we really looked into was how can we separate ourselves even further? We want to get as many views as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can make Riot get 1,000 views, that's still 1,000 views versus if you're trying to be the next football guy, and you're just hashtagging football. Oh, you mean the other 4 million people?
Yeah, sure. No, we're still doing something different.
Those 1,000 views are going to be a lot easier, I think, to get in your thing if you're at the top. So I think that's a big tool to use to bring to the table. You're still getting this % of the population that are into this.
For sure, yeah. I mean, but again, a part of our goal with Riot is really also to not just be limited to parkour.
Yeah.
We don't.
Of course,
we don't.
We're seeing with the label and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really, we want people who really don't give a shit about parkour to follow us, and we're still working on that. We're trying to figure out how to make that super legit.
Yeah.
But it's it's just a constant revision.
If you don't do parkour and you're listening, you know what to do, boy.
Yeah, you know what to do.
So the shirts and the stickers are pretty much the only thing you guys use to sell at your events.
We don't sell stickers.
We don't sell stickers. Stickers would be lame to sell.
We don't sell.
I'm not gonna
stickers.
spend money on a
We
sticker.
do.
I'm not gonna charge people money for stickers.
Well, if someone wants to support you, that's our idea with the Smash stickers. We sell those because it's
No.
if you really want to support us and make our stream better, grab a sticker.
We do have
For like the way we do it is like we get the riot stickers, which we give this out to anyone. We put on our story. We put like in like a month or something, or a couple weeks, like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. We'll do another one where you can hit us up and we'll send you an envelope with these stickers, just because we love you. We love you. We love you. And we want to send you these stickers. So if you just hit us up, we'll do it for free. We'll send you these stickers. So then we do that. And then we have these beautiful stickers with our mascot, Dick Sanchez. So this is the first Dick Sanchez sticker. Dick Sanchez is tight as hell. Tyler Downing from New York illustrates them. His Instagram is Spiffy Hippie. He's fucking awesome. And Dick Sanchez, these stickers are like a little bit harder to get. We do them in limited runs. You can do, you got this one. We made 25 shirts at Beast Coast, and we sold them all. We sold out at Beast Coast, and we
with Dick Sanchez.
No, we made
No, we had
25
100.
different. We had 100 Dick Sanchez stickers, and we just gave them out at Beast Coast. So if you're at Beast Coast, you could get one of these. All you have to do is find us. And then this one, the tour van.
It's a little
Tour
nicer.
van Dick Sanchez. It's fancy. I know, right? Look, it's Dick
That one's-
Sanchez.
yeah,
Oh shit.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Dick Sanchez in a van, on a van. You see that? In a van,
Yo.
on a van.
Shout out Tyler.
Shout out Tyler.
That's some
Tyler
introspection
is
shit right there,
clutch.
bro.
I know, right?
Or
This
Inception.
this is what's up. But anyway, so the only way you get one of these stickers is you bought one of our shirts. If you bought one of our tour shirts, this sticker came with it. So, I don't know.
You trying to add to my wall here?
We're trying to add these. Let's put both these on the wall.
We'll hook you up. You want to do one? I do one.
All right, I'll take Dick Sanchez classic.
I'll take in a van, on a van.
In a van, on a van, baby.
That's awesome.
There might be another Dick Sanchez soon.
Who you got with Tyler? Yeah, and then Dick Sanchez is just like we'll be fucks with Dick Sanchez.
Oh man, we got a lot of things going on.
Okay, I don't want to cover anything. Because there's lots of beautiful things. I'm barely covering this one.
Summary events, I hate them. Blah blah blah. Why?
Do you have any questions?
Okay, so but why limit your market? Not sell the stickers. Why not sell your shirts online?
Honestly, we give away the riot stickers. Like we're not gonna sell
we're
them.
not gonna sell
We're
them
literally
ever.
just gonna give them to you, just because like we love you, and because literally all that is a list of values. All that is us saying like we think these things are important, and man, like we want you to have access to those values. Like if anything, we want to like help people, and if we can like if anything, just give them something to like galvanize around, and like that, we're just gonna give that out for forever. That's always just gonna be something we give out. Maybe it'll be in a different different style once like things get out of control. We'll see. But as far as the Dick Sanchez stickers, it's a fucking dick. And because of that, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want with it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to make super limited runs of it. And we're only going to give it out at specific times.
It's gonna be fun.
And it's going to be fun. And part of the reality of that is that, like we make our shit. And our shit is what it is. And if you want it, like, you gotta work with us. You gotta show up. You gotta show up to the events we're going to be at. You gotta show up to the tour. The reason we don't sell stuff online is because, honestly,
domains are fucking expensive.
it costs money to maintain that. It also like we have to ship stuff out.
It's not as fun.
We would have to sell the shirts for more money if we sold them online. We sell our shirts for $20. $20 is not bad. You give us a $20 bill.
We do the same thing. Like in our live events, if you want a shirt, like
Yeah.
we'll do a discount. I'll order the shirt and
Yeah.
I'll buy it for cheaper than what it is on our site that we use. We actually
For
use
sure.
Redbubble. You know what that is?
Yeah,
No.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can buy it online and it's like, 20 something, like 20 over $25. But
Yeah.
if you come to me like at a live event, you pay your venue fee, you
Sure.
give me $20, like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
that's it. And then I'll ship it to you directly and I'll do all the customization.
That's
for
tight.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
But online, like the Ganon sticker, that sells so much online, and they pay $3 for a sticker.
that's actually tight. That is tight that you're selling stickers online.
Yeah.
We will sell shirts online at one point. The other
Make more
reason
memes, bro.
we haven't
Memes
sold
are the
shirts.
future.
I mean,
Oh,
fuck
no.
memes.
I hope I'm the future.
Reason we haven't
Oh,
sold
me
shirts
too.
online also is because we hand make all of our shirts, and so like because of that we do specific batches for specific things. Like also like the clothing almost started as a fucking joke. The way we came up with our clothing. So do you have your hat still?
Not with me.
We have a hat that says "I'm going to kill the president." I'm sorry, he was supposed to be wearing it.
I was supposed
It's
to be
partnered with this shirt that says "It's not that deep." That was our first run of clothing we ever did. We really just felt super inspired. We were
chilling around on some mushrooms, and we were just like spitballing and just throwing ideas around, and we were like
MAGA hat and pride hat.
yeah, and we were thinking about like what are the hats that are like crazy and people really like that MAGA hat, and we're like, man, we really don't like that MAGA hat. So we're like, what can we make that's gonna like fuck with that MAGA hat? And so we made our Kill the President hat, and it was just honestly super fun, and people reacted really well to it, and we were like, this is tight, this is like a way we can really push our brand. And so that's why we started making that's why we started making clothing. Like, it's just because we thought that was dope, and so we made that.
Yeah.
And we wanted to put that on a hat. And
I
then
still think that hat is the best thing we made.
the hat's fucking dope. We only made 15 of them. They're sold out. We'll never get one.
Gone forever.
Gone
maybe.
forever, maybe. But yeah, we'll probably sell stuff online at some point.
Yeah, he was saying, the avocado guy said, you know, you should still sell stuff online. Burrito Parkour, who is that in the window? Lol. I think he's trying to troll.
Knack. Dude, I love you, dude.
Your supporters love you and want to support you financially too. So that's why you should sell them online. That's kind of what he's saying.
We're gonna have some other ways for people to support us financially coming soon in the future.
Again, my Venmo is Kato Koehler,
Venmo Kato.
So
I'm gonna spend it on Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Liam asks, what's the next event you're gonna be putting up together?
So
Boy, you know.
we're working with Liam and with Pinnacle Parkour Philadelphia on an event called Oktoberfest. It is October 22nd, maybe. It's that weekend. It's like a Friday, it's like a Saturday, Sunday.
We're a
event.
bit out of
And
the loop.
we literally just got back in Philly. We're way out of the loop.
No doubt.
But we're throwing that out. We're working that event. That's actually like Liam's event, and then we're working with him on it. And then, what are some other events we're gonna be at? We're gonna be at event the Commons or
Commons.
What is it called?
It's like the Boston Commons.
We're gonna be at some jam in Boston the weekend after.
I'm not sure.
Dude, honestly, hit our fucking DMs.
Tell us where to be.
Tell us where to be. We got a van. We can just go places. Tell us where to be, and we'll be there. We'll bring some shirts, maybe. We'll like throw some rocks at you. Like we'll make it happen. Just tell us where to be.
Bring the
We'll
riot.
bring something.
We'll bring the riot. The riot. It's like that.
You gotta make that like the hashtag. Bring the riot.
Bring the
It's for
riot.
when you show up and crash cans.
Bring the heat.
When we just break shit.
I don't know about
What are
that.
the next few events you guys will be at? Yeah, that is what. That is.
Can you guys read that from over here?
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
gotta, like, lean in, even
Burrito
with
said I
my
love you too,
contacts.
Kato.
Nuh-uh.
So let me think. I'm trying to see if I want to ask any other specific stuff for you guys. So you got through the tour. You have some pretty dope plans coming ahead. So and then the music stuff's really dope that you have released.
Yeah.
So who's in on that?
Okay, so Stealing Children is Kato, it's me, and it's our boy Burrito, and it's a music collective, rap collective that's signed to the label Riot. So it's like it's a little bit separate than Riot, but like low key it's like the same people, who are fucking with it, but we're just like keeping it separate for business purposes. But that's Stealing Children. So yeah. And we just put out a mixtape called Home. Put that out like right as we were leaving on tour.
And then
we released Origins with Higgs Boson, recorded straight from the Origins parking lot. And then we will release something else at another point in time. Yeah. That's all we can say.
Right now, we're just taking a second for the group to
Honestly,
regroup.
yeah, we're honestly just taking a second to break.
The engine's the engine's empty. We need a refill.
Yeah, you know.
We need a break.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna front.
Not gonna front.
Shout out Redner's Warehouse Markets. They're serving local communities since 1970
1970.
with sodium-free spring
Serving
water.
Local community since 1970. Look at them. Go Redners.
Hit them up. Hit them up on Twitter.
Hit their line.
Hashtag
Sodium
Redner's-
free.
Hashtag sodium free.
Free the water.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You
Free
guys
water.
ever think about looking into like making a Patreon with subscribers?
Where we share Kato's nudes.
Where we can share my nudes.
Yeah.
And
And
make
my
a nude
nudes.
calendar.
I have a bunch of nudes that I could share too.
Do you want to make a nude calendar?
You want to make it? Oh, should we make a nude calendar?
Should we make a nude calendar? Let's give the people some time to answer that question. If we make a nude calendar,
What
would
I'm
you give us
saying is,
$5?
Like, if you have a Patreon, like you have subscribers, be like, yo, if you subscribe for this tier, like you give us $5 everything, we'll send
A
you
monthly
nude
Dick
every month.
Sanchez sticker.
Or a monthly Dick Sanchez sticker. And like if you're in the
We could send out
$20
care
tier,
We
packages.
could send out
Exactly,
care
but I'm
packages.
saying,
I want to
like,
do more care packages.
if you give us
that'd be
like $30 a month, we'll make a shirt just for you, whatever size you are, and ship it. Like that's definitely something I've been looking into. I just kicked off my Patreon.
We could do
if
that.
You guys want to check out
That's
my
actually not a
shit.
bad idea.
dope. Check out his Patreon.
Check out his Patreon.
Please.
Support
Or you
him.
hate me, and I'm not hateable. Look at me.
Yeah, bro.
If you hate him, you're racist.
That's
If you hate
racist.
me, you're racist.
Hashtag racism.
That is true.
You're gonna get blocked by Instagram's algorithm.
Dude, Instagram's gonna come for you.
Shadow ban.
Rip
But
Comrade
yeah.
Kato.
That's one of the things I'm trying to do is I unofficially I really want to put together like an album where I have all the Bardic Inspiration Podcast musical guests that I've had on
Cool. I see.
to
And-
collaborate.
To collaborate
on an album.
And
make
they're
a
all gonna
thing.
live here for a weekend.
We could totally make that a thing.
Because that's the way to do music.
That's the way. That is the way to do
music.
things. Force
We-
everyone in a room together and
we
just
have,
make them smack their heads
Well,
together.
basically, like, have you seen any of the collab stuff I've done yet?
I don't think so. No.
no.
Okay, I'll shoot you guys links
Okay.
to some of the other ones, but they're really cool. And
Okay.
some of the music is just stuff that never would have happened otherwise,
Mm.
and the fact that it was something that I was able to make it happen because I
You have the
randomly
space.
have a warehouse with a school bus.
This guy's space is so tight.
it's so
He has a
cool.
warehouse with 3 schoolhouses and like
School buses.
three
Yeah.
school buses and
Well, I
like
mean, they're kind of houses too.
dude, there are like house school buses. He has a shower sink. It's so
You
awesome.
stand in the sink and take a shower. It's
like,
so cool.
It's so clutch. It
I'm
is
gonna take
what's
my
up.
first shower this
It is-
week.
It is the
because of
greatest thing.
It'll be Monday by then.
All right, man. I'll drink to that if I have
Drama.
any left.
This is not water, kids.
Oh my god.
That's a lie. This is 100%
Redmond's Warehouse Market, serving our local community since 1970. Spring water, sodium free, 1 gallon, 3.85. Fuck, I did must those.
Burrito said he wants to be in the calendar. Did I hear an EP coming soon?
Maybe.
If you make that project a thing and people are living here, we'll be here.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
awesome.
be
It's
here.
called a factory. It's the thing that we do.
Factory.
Whenever you have a
factory.
big group project, really the only way to make sure it happens at a good pace is to live together.
Force everyone in the room
I
together.
think living together is honestly the best way to make a collaborative project.
Oh yeah.
that
for
would
sure.
go. Unfortunately, it's a super uncommon thing.
Yeah.
My favorite band that I've ever been in.
Mhm.
The reason I own this school bus is from that band.
Prince Lappy.
No, that's Mike Garbett from
Okay.
Pure Urge. Good guys. The Climbing.
Okay.
And I wouldn't own this bus if it wasn't for that band. And I wouldn't have ever gone to LA to shoot a music video if it wasn't for that band.
That's
Facts.
fucking
It's
sick.
amazing. And I wish people would just get after it more and just be really unconventional like you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to make it. Because you don't
Whoa.
have a backup plan. This is the fucking plan.
What's a
Yeah,
backup
you know what I
plan?
mean?
There's no
Like,
backup
This
plan.
is the
Yeah.
hustle. This is how we
Yeah.
survive.
This is
Yeah.
it. Like, we're going to make it work.
That's
Yeah.
the way
This
to do
is
it.
this is the dream.
If this is the dream, you make it work.
Put yourself in the scary situation. Make it work.
Honestly,
Make it
like
happen.
like putting your
I want to eat tomorrow, so I'm gonna make it
hop-
happen.
Hop in the oven, and then like things can happen way faster when you put the hot water on. Like you put the boiler on underneath you, all of a sudden it's like not sit on your couch and play video games time. Like it's time to go.
It's time to
time to
feast.
make
Yeah, man.
things. Like
Yeah.
that's how it be.
But yeah, factories are the way to do it. We're like that sounds like a fucking awesome project.
Yeah, I want
This
to be on
this
that.
would be the
Sounds
place
tight.
to
I'll hit
do
you
it.
guys up.
Sounds like the place.
I'm
yeah.
actually having a hip hop guy on soon.
Yeah?
If I can, I'm thinking about. Like I said, I need Patreon subscribers before this is even a thing. So
Give
it's
him
totally,
money.
It's totally.
We
a
don't have any
concept.
Give
money
him
to
money.
give him, but if
Yeah.
you have money, you can give him money.
But what I would really like to do, like I have a lot of really awesome metal dudes that are going to be on the show
Yeah.
in the coming months here, and like some hip hop dudes as well, and just like some producers that can help us record the whole thing. And
Wait,
I gotta make sure everyone gets. I would love for everyone to get paid out of it too. Is like another thing.
Money's dope.
Yeah, money's dope, but I mean, if, even
But I
if
mean,
like,
like the project sounds fun as shit.
Well, the project
That
is gonna
sounds
be
like a
great,
fucking
and it's entirely
lit-ass
likely that we
project.
won't make any money out of it.
exactly.
But
But
we'll
to
have
fund it,
and we'll make
still,
friends.
you know.
We'll
Yeah,
make friends. We'll have a
It's
good
gonna be a
time.
ridiculous thing to try to coordinate.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds awesome.
And
though.
I'm 100% trying to do it.
And that sounds
I am
amazing.
I am definitely 100% down to spend a couple nights in a warehouse full of people who are better at music than I am.
That does sound like honestly
That
the dream
sounds
right now.
the most pleasant weekend I could imagine is like sitting with masters.
That's good.
We'll see what we can make happen, dude.
Yeah. Right.
So it's been a few hours.
Has it?
Oh my
Yeah,
god, it
yeah.
really. Has
So
been.
do you guys have any like closing sentiments that you want to let everyone go with? Let me ask one question before we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
If there are any young parkour athletes or people that are trying to get into parkour, maybe not to be competitive and elite as fuck like you, but they
Not
just
real.
want to get into it to experience the lifestyle. What are some recommendations you have? What should they be looking for? What should they stay away from?
Find if there's a local parkour community on Facebook, it's oftentimes a really good place to find community. Honestly, like if you're looking to get into parkour, hit us up. Hit our line on Instagram. You can hit either of our personal accounts or Riot. We respond to messages. Like we'll hit you back. We'll give you the lowdown on what's going on in your area. But like, do some research. See if there's a gym nearby. If there's not, you can definitely use YouTube tutorials. You just gotta make sure you're finding quality ones. Again, we can help you find some quality YouTube tutorials. I would look towards I don't even know if Jason Paul has
Jason Paul has good ones.
Jason Paul has some great ones.
Jason Paul has good ones.
Jason
They're
Paul's
entertaining
tight.
too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there, but I would say that you should learn the techniques before you try to do difficult things. The way that parkour works is that you have to understand your fundamentals and you have to understand your basics so that you can push it to a higher level.
Not having your foundations will get you hurt.
It will get you really hurt. Exactly. Honestly, like really, I see that happen like a lot. Is that people just like don't learn the foundation, and they try to huck themselves across big things and get really hurt. And like I'm not gonna front. Like I have a super sendy hucky mentality, and that's kind of like how I roll with things. But like I'm also elastic. I just kind of bounce off things, and most of the time don't break. I'm just a very lucky person. So like, don't follow like that thing. Just like learn how to fail things safely. Actually.
And then don't be afraid to fail those things.
And then don't be afraid to fail those things.
And then you'll be doing parkour.
And you'll be doing parkour, it's true. Once you can fail things safely, you can just keep on trying them, and it'll be okay.
And don't be afraid to be a beginner.
It's important.
Being a beginner at sports like parkour and skating are really intimidating because they're niche sports that not everybody respects. And so, oftentimes, it's very discouraging when you're starting those skills.
Yeah.
And not just in those two particular skills. I know a lot of kids that are like afraid to learn music skills because being a beginner is really intimidating.
It's really scary to like to just fully say like I'm bad at this and like own being bad at something. That's terrifying.
But if you can do that and you can get over being bad at parkour, trust me, you'll get good at parkour a lot quicker than you would either way.
For real, honestly.
Yeah, swallow your pride. That
Swallow
was a
your
big
pride.
thing for me in the beginning, man.
And also,
huge for me.
Savor it, dude. I miss going back to jumps that are not jumps that I would look at right now and be like, these are some lit-ass challenges. Just because everything changes. As you get better at parkour, more opportunities open up. And I think it gets more fun. But I also, I wish I had enjoyed parkour when parkour was simpler for me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't get it. We came from two very different
We came
parkour
from two very
backgrounds.
different parkour backgrounds, that's true.
But
very different.
I mean, as with life, I definitely could have had a better time.
All
Could have
right.
made it happen.
That's awesome. So if they want to find you guys, we have at Riot Parkour. All your handles are there if you want to reiterate those, because I'm going to be probably doing an audio version of this too.
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram at Riot Parkour. You can find me at FreeRunSell, FreeRunsell.
You can find me at Kato Koehler, at KatoKoehler.
Those are Instagrams.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of. We both have a bunch of
I have
Instagrams.
3.
Ceiling Children is
Forgot about
our rap collective. But we have a lot of Instagrams. So honestly, if you just follow those main ones, we shout out the other ones on the story.
You'll find it.
Like I have a photography Instagram. I got a daily parkour Instagram. I got my main Instagram. I got the Riot Instagram. We got our music Instagram. We got some things.
I got
popping off.
sunglasses. I got one that's just bullshit. It's a good time. Follow us.
All right, boys. Well, it was amazing having you
Wait.
incredible.
We just gave these
on.
people some partying advice. You got to give them some partying advice.
You really do.
Oh,
They're here.
Some parting
Hey,
advice?
they're here to listen to what you have to say too, man.
All right. What sort of advice should I give the people out there? 'Cause
That's a
lot
good
of them are
question.
your people.
For people that are interested in that want to get into podcasting and really want to break into that podcasting niche and that YouTube video niche, what's some advice you would give?
So if I was going to give some advice, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you will.
Yeah.
Like we did today with the audio in the beginning.
It happens.
It's going
Yeah.
to happen, and don't let it mess up getting after meeting some of the amazing people and having some amazing conversations with
Brad.
guys that you wouldn't otherwise have planned out to
true.
sit down and do this.
Yeah.
Get with people that have experience. Borrow equipment, because if you're borrowing equipment, the guy that you're borrowing it from is going to show you how to use it. Then you don't have to watch a YouTube tutorial and then wonder why the YouTube tutorial is not true.
That's some lit ass advice.
That's really smart.
That's good advice.
Definitely. And try to the biggest thing for me as well is try to overlap what you're doing. So if you're a video game streamer, use your Elgato to hook up to your camera,
For sure.
not just to hook up to your Nintendo Switch when you're giving people that work.
Mega moves.
Use the things you know, and then overlap it
Yeah.
with the things you don't, and it's
That's
gonna
very
make
good.
everything.
It's gonna make everything better. Yeah, mixed music and
See,
parkour.
now the people,
So-
now the good people of the internet, they're a little bit smarter for what you just
Absolutely.
said. Good
and I will
job.
actually put some links to all of the products that I use in the description, if you guys are interested in.
Because he's an
purchasing
Amazon
these
affiliate.
He's an Amazon affiliate.
things.
That's tight, man, dude. That's so sick.
So make sure you buy stuff when you click those links, please. Support the channel.
Support
All right, guys, we're gonna end it there. Make sure you follow these incredible dudes, and their journey is gonna be completely lit, as you all obviously can tell.
Shout out Patrick. Tune in next time for the next episode of
Shout out Patrick.
Shout Out Patrick.
Shout out, Patrick.
Shout out Patrick. I lied to everyone.